Studios and broadcasting to you on 1070 The Game. That fires up out of Madison, but that flamethrower goes all over this beautiful state of Wisconsin. Good morning, Appleton, Green Bay, Menominee Falls, Menasha, Medford, all the way up to Rhinelander, and maybe even all the way down to Rockford. What's going on this morning? Even those folks south of the border, we hope that you're having a phenomenal morning here today as we start up here on No BS. That is Armin Sarian back in the saddle again. Good morning, brother.
What's up? Good morning. Good to be back. Stand up, Medford. What's up? I like that you shouted out. We're just doing, remember that's the show that I just did cities? I just did towns. Maybe we should just do that one again, right?
I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Medford representing Taylor County.
I'm always excited for people to shout out their favorite counties in the state because this beautiful state needs to be celebrated. It needs to be discussed, and it needs to be highlighted just how glorious this time of year is in the state. Because I know, as somebody that likes to gripe is probably a strong yet very accurate word about the weather. I know that you're getting a little bit hurting right now. I know it's getting cold. I know it's getting chilly. I know it went from 75 degrees on a Saturday in October.
Oh, it was warm.
This is glorious. It's like warm. The calendar is completely shifted. And this is a stolen month. And all of a sudden you wake up with damn near frost across the entire state. But it's glorious. It's beautiful outside. And the Milwaukee Bucks start playing basketball here tonight. So as one season closes, Armin, another door opens to a potential championship season here in the state.
The wheel keeps turning. It's the circle of life, the circle of the seasons. And you're right, Billy. It is kind of funny how that works. Like, we were pretty temperate, mild, warm weather almost until baseball season was over for us, unfortunately, around these parts. And
when it started, you couldn't stop being upset because it's like, it's April, it's spring. Where is spring?
Well, yeah, I was hoping for some better springtime weather. That was way back earlier in the year, in the season. I'm trying to remember, it seems like eons ago, but that's very true. And we were getting it all the way through the season, like you said. But this week, man, it smacks you right in the face. It punches right in the face. You get that cold, bitter wind.
Fall here, baby.
I mean, when I went to Cops yesterday to pick up some of my tic-tac-dough, great flavor. If you're out there, I think it's Twix Tac Dough. My apologies. I'm not really sure. No free ad. I'm giving one though. For everyone,
you're always going to give that one away.
Cops doesn't need my ad. Everybody knows how great they are. They don't need my ad. It's not like you've never heard of them. But one of my favorite flavors. I was there yesterday to pick some up, and boom, right in the face. I mean, that thing, it was like cold wind. Nobody was outside. I was like, yeah, it is. This weather has changed. This season has changed. The autumn wind is a raider, as they say, and they have blown in, and they have blown us into a new Buck season, a new team spirit, I would say, with Giannis now as the kind of the old elder statesman, the leader.
No doubt about it.
The new young pups and the very dangerous team, as he said. So into the one of the biggest regular season Packer games, I'd say, in some time, in terms of hype, in terms of anticipation, seeing old number 12 again. Well, now number 8, obviously, but our old number 12. So there's a lot going on, Billy, and it's going to be back here on a hump day as we traverse this fall wind, not winter wind. Feels like it, but it's the fall wind.
I like that you use the word traverse there in that
traverse,
which is a phenomenal one. But you mentioned the game coming up on Sunday. We're going to talk a bunch about it. We're going to chop it up throughout the day about this impending game, which is massive. When you think of the different benchmark and pillar games that the Packers have played, this one's going to stand up there as one of the more highly anticipated ones. I think, at least in terms of media hype and expectation that you're going to get, because of how fun it is, right? Like, I mean, it is or how big of a conversation it's going to be for NBC to cover it, and how much and how many people are going to be there, right? Like the Micah Parsons game. They don't usually send that many folks out there. They had their entire pregame shows celebration there.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be somewhat similar coming up here in Pittsburgh because of the magnitude of Aaron Rodgers playing against the Packers once again. Now, we also have seen Hall of Fame quarterback play against his former team now a lot, right? Because as we've witnessed time and time again, every single one of these guys goes and plays somewhere else.
Right.
Whether it's Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Joe Namath.
Not in their prime, but at the end of their career.
At the end of their career, it's what happens.
Unitas played for the Chargers or somebody. Yeah. So
and whether or not it's the younger really good quarterbacks in the NFL, which is being highlighted of them changing teams early in their career, or the guys of yesteryear who were always so prominent and so good in top of the game level. They go and play somewhere else at the end of the year or at the end of their career. And to see Aaron have a chance to join that elusive and exclusive group that has beaten all 32 teams in the NFL. Going to be a fun one to be able to witness coming up on Sunday, but also going to be a great atmosphere. Like, that place is as raucous as any stadium in pro football. And I, for one, love it. I also love Bill and Iron River saying, hey, Billy and Armin, don't forget about the northern part of the state.
Don't sleep.
Shut our mouth. Superior, Duluth, Ashland, Hurley, Ironwood. Are there any affiliated stations up here? Well, you better believe it. Duluth, Superior, Twin Ports. Come on now. Going to be up there as well, pretty much coming up very shortly. But also, Rhinelander gets close. But Bill and Iron River, you can always find us on the iHeartRadio app.
Always
can find us there.
Or we're back on the stream. I see it only took 1 day of me being gone, huh?
2 days.
In 2 days.
Well, I was gone on Monday. But we're back up on the stream, the video stream. I like this. So you can catch us on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Yes. Absolutely. We love that. Because then you can see us. And that's what we know you want to do at 6 a.m. is see our pretty faces, right? I mean,
some shining, some smiling. Yeah. No doubt about it. And sometimes it gets a little bit different. Like sometimes it's a little bit tougher earlier in the morning. But as Red Hot Tim Knott said, what was that?
I just said, yeah.
I love that. Dynamite drop in, Monty. Love that.
That was a great opportunity for a pause button. Red Hot Tim Knott said, I just have to get something off my chest. Sometimes at 4 to 6 at work, I hang out with my new dad, B97.3, and he's all right. But then I come back here because I love you guys, and I know I'm jumping around. You can go wherever you want. You can frequent as many different dials as possible. But you can always have a home here, and you're always going to be able to chop it up with our friends here, Billy and Armin on OBS.
Weekend visitation's a thing. We understand how it is,
Yeah, 100%. Everyone gets hours.
Everyone's got rights, but you got to get back home to home, right? At some point. And
home is where the heart is.
Home is where the heart is.
And at some point, you're always going to remember.
Well, welcome you back home.
Your old friends are right here for 4 hours from 6 to 10 on the No BS Morning Show. And we had Tim Allen in the chair yesterday, Armin, and we were bantering about what went down throughout the games the night before and how incredible it was watching the spectacle in Toronto, winning in Game 7 of the ALCS.
What a game that was.
Incredible game. Springer hits the 3-run shot. He's tied now third all time for most playoff home runs. Shockingly, 2 former Astros in that top 3 with him and Jose Altuve. But it's pretty remarkable to see 2 teams in the Dodgers and Blue Jays, both some would think kind of polar opposites. However, the Blue Jays are kind of closer to the Dodgers than they are the Brewers. Like, they've wanted to be more of the Dodgers, I think, than the Brewers for a long time. They've been trying to spend big time money. They spent $500 million on Vlad Guerrero this year, and now they're into the World Series. They've bought in a bunch of different good players. They haven't necessarily been able to hit big with the great players in free agency. So it's almost,
but they've tried.
I mean,
Shohei's on that plane, right, guys?
He was going to get on the plane. To me, it's almost like the name brand versus the Kirkland brand. Big Blue, Blue Jay Blue. I kind of love what we're seeing on Friday. And as much as I am probably going to be a passive viewer in the Fall Classic, I asked him, I'm like, how can you really consume baseball?
Sure.
As knee deep as, well, let's be honest, eye deep as he is in baseball throughout the entire season. I mean, he's just up to all the way. Sure. I mean, he's going all the way, being able to watch and consume every single pitch and living and dying on everyone. It's like, well, I can't really get that into it. But if it's good, if the game's close, I'll watch a little longer. I'll hang out there a little bit longer, pay a little bit more attention. Okay, I'll lock in for the next couple of innings, but I'll be very passive. However, I do like the little bit of a breakdown that we have here. It feels like, Versace and Gucci versus what everything I'm going to be buying over here down on Joseph A. Bank or something here at Kohl's. I'm going to get
disrespect Joseph A. Bank like that.
I'm going to get my Craft and Barrel while everybody's hanging out here in the name brand Nordstrom department.
Yeah, Forever 21 or Stephen Barry's. I think
way down here. Well, listen, Stephen Barry's out of business.
That's
I want the Blue Jays to win. So that's why I'm not going to go Stephen Barry's. Right. I don't want them to bounce.
They're not.
I want their check to clear.
They're not that different. I mean, that's a good point in terms of, the Dodgers are the Dodgers, and everybody knows that. They have all the superstars and things like that. But the way the Toronto Blue Jays have tried to model themselves is not that different, Billy. You mentioned spending money, all the money they gave to Vlad. I make the joke, but it's true. They tried hard to get Shohei. That was an incredible rumor at the time that he was on the plane. He was going to go there. Shohei on the plane to Toronto was as followed of a fake storyline as the first time Shaka was supposed to be at Marquette. Does that make sense? The done deal that like Shaka's on his way, all these things, like there's tracking planes and things like that. Never happened, but I wonder if this is Toronto's chance to finally get one over on
I was wondering what the reception's going to be like for him.
I'm sure they're going to be all over him. Also, I think you had the Canada USA storyline. This isn't the best couple of years, Billy, for the Canada USA relations. Not trying to make this political about, but I'm just saying there's a different level of it. Market size is not that much. Toronto's a huge city. People just
massive
think of
city.
Canada. Okay, it's Canada. Toronto's like the size of Chicago minimum, I would say. So Toronto's a massive market. LA is LA. We know that. So you're talking about stars on both sides. I don't know. Toronto's got the pitching that LA does. Obviously, the Dodgers are a favorite in this series, but it's not as different as you'd think. They want to match. They want to do all these things too, as much as the Dodgers do. So there are some aspects of that. And I got to say one thing too. I kind of ridiculed this for over a year now since Timmy said it after the Mets series, the frustration over the Mets series. Mm-hmm. We need more playoff type players.
Playoff players.
I sat there thinking when I saw Springer hit the home run, and I'm like, oh, Springer again? Like, how many times does he come up big in the postseason now? And then I said to myself, that's it. I figured it out. I figured out who the playoff player is. We finally got one. It's
George Springer.
It's George Springer. He's the one. Because I said, playoff type performer, that's not a real thing. That was just, in my head, I'm like, Timmy, that's just you being frustrated. There's no such thing as a playoff type player. Mm-hmm. Maybe there was one, and his name was George Springer. And that was pretty amazing to see. Listen, all down to the wire, Game 7 at home. It's the stuff dreams are made of if you're a baseball fan in Toronto. So congrats to them for making it. I kind of was like, I was jealous. I wanted that to be us. I wanted us to be with the girl at the prom and all that stuff. I wanted that to be us.
We keep waiting 1 year. And 1 year, maybe they'll take that proposal.
1 year, maybe it'll happen, and it'll be us.
But you're right, Armin. Yeah. And like I was in the same boat when we heard we need playoff players. I'm like, well, I really would like to be able to know that as well.
Sure.
Without prior success or prior trials.
Prior knowledge,
you're only going to know how good somebody is in the playoffs by getting there, getting the opportunities, getting Bryce Terang in multiple playoff moments, getting Sal Frelick in multiple playoff moments. Now, we thought he was going to be a little bit bigger time player in the playoffs this time around because he was last year. Little different story. Different year, different circumstance. Doesn't mean he won't at one particular point in time. But there are guys that raise their level of performance. And, sadly, I mean, I know a lot of people are waiting to send off and fire off the text at 877-794-1973. Sadly, we kind of know what a couple of guys that don't look like playoff players are like.
And you know what? You have the guys.
Christian Yelich would be the one that everyone's looking at right now.
That's the name. He didn't perform, and he hasn't. And the thing is, you have the players you have. So that's what makes it tough, too. You build the team the way you think you should build a team to have a good season and make the playoffs, to try and make a run. It's not like you're going to, I don't know. You have the guys in fantasy. He's a good example. You have the guys in fantasy football, right, that are just telling you, I'm just drafting for the playoffs. Like they're that cocky where they think they can only draft players that have good matchups in the playoffs. And I'm like, well, you can't think like that. You have to try and win games during the year to get there, right? So that's kind of the same idea. I'm like, well, you can't just think about, well, let's go get Mariano Rivera because he can save games in the playoffs. I'm like, well, you have to go with the guys you have. You have to build the team you have, and that's who you have. Like, it wasn't like we were going to use Bryce and Christian all year, get production, and then all of a sudden put in our magic playoff. Okay, we got Sinatra now. Come on, walk on. You're actually playing when it counts. It wasn't
like Sinatra could hit a curveball.
Well, I don't know. But
you think Sinatra could hit a curve?
Yeah. Well, but it's
Sinatra.
It's just one of those. Yeah, Sinatra and those guys. Love those guys. It's just one of those things where it was unrealistic to me to ask for I want a playoff player, and I'm like, are those guys really a thing? Are they available? And if they are, could we even?
Yeah, I want to. But Armin, the thing is, you want to find Tramon Williams.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yes, you want
that. He's a very, very good regular season player, but after multiple runs in the postseason, realized that dude elevates his level of play when the game matters the most. And I think you see a lot of those guys. And in baseball, where everything is so individualized, maybe we can find more of those. Maybe we can. Maybe we don't. Well, but I do like that we're hunting for one.
I agree.
We found one. Jackson
Jackson
Churio.
Churio, we got him.
More
We
of
got
those
him.
guys.
Good guys.
We might have another one. Jacob Mizorowski.
Mhm.
And you
Seems
don't know.
like he's elevating his play during the biggest times. Chad Patrick.
Yeah.
But again, Chad Patrick could also walk out next year. Hopefully the Brewers are in this spot in the National League Divisional Series and not get through the first round.
He could.
pull a Matthew Boyd and all this and just get absolutely massacred in the first inning.
Right.
Get yanked out. It can't be predictive. However, can at least give you a little bit of a hint as to how somebody is going to feel in the biggest moment. Now, I also wanted to go back to one thing you mentioned, Armin, about how some of us think of Toronto, since it is in Canada, to our neighbors from the north.
Oh, yeah, there.
Correct. And I would say it this way. I think a lot of us believe that Canada is like what Bill in Iron River is explaining about where his beautiful home is in Bayfield. Said, I listen to you guys via my Amazon Alexa smart speaker. Thank you, Bill. He also said, by the way, there isn't a single stop or stop and go light in the county where I live in Bayfield.
In all of Bayfield.
Now, that is what most of us think about Canada.
I can't believe
I believe Canada is mostly just all Bayfield County,
Well, that's
which
what-
would be a beautiful spot. They would
amazing
actually
county.
be lucky to have all of Bayfield County through that province up there, because I
Bayfield,
think there's
yeah.
a lot of parts of Canada that wish it was as beautiful as Bayfield County.
Oh, Bayfield County is amazing. I guess I'm surprised that even Washburn, there isn't a stoplight. I think Washburn,
Bayfield County, we are coming to your city
we're coming to Geezer Palooza.
during Geezer Palooza.
During Geezer Palooza, we're coming.
Yeah, but that's not part of the song.
Oh, it was a very good year.
It was
No,
phenomenal.
okay. That's how a lot of people think of Wisconsin across the whole state, across the country, as just a whole barren hayseed. I'm saying it's wrong.
No, you're wrong. You're right, but you're wrong about being wrong.
They're wrong
They're wrong.
about us thinking that we're Canada.
That's what I'm saying. We're not what you think Canada is. And
Right.
Canada is not what you think that we think you think Wisconsin is.
Did you break into the gummies this
That
morning?
makes sense at
6:17?
all?
It does.
All right.
It
How
does.
you tell me there's no
Totally does. That's
stoplight in
actually-
Bayfield County?
I kind of hope there's not.
Stand up Washburn. I
I'll
think
go
the
try
county
and find
seat.
one.
We're gonna go scout it out.
There are
You
two.
got to have bars along the way,
Speaking
right?
of
You
that,
have to.
there are two escalators in the state
Actually,
of Wyoming.
I bet what Bayfield County
Both on
for
campus.
Geezer Palooza, what that would be spectacular for, probably the snowmobiling route
Yeah.
Well, that's Eagle River.
into Eagle River, no doubt about it.
I'm sure there's places you could snowmobile.
Best part about Eagle River is they got the signs up for the bars that you're going to hit
Oh, yeah.
on the snowmobiling route.
The little stop signs, the little mini ones on the snowmobile route.
I gotta drive a snowmobile this year. The city slicker in me has never gotten on one of them big bad boys, and I'm trying to.
I never did
Go
either.
slow at first.
What was that?
Just go slow at first. You're fine.
I like seeing those guys in the outdoor
Yeah,
games.
ease in.
Do-
877-794-1973.
Do the flips and stuff in the outdoor games for the snowmobile. Ever see that? That's wild.
I don't know that they can do that with my weight restrictions,
I
but
know,
yeah, I've
yeah.
seen that for sure.
Yeah. So
I think I'm going to pause on those, but I'm going to try to hit up a couple of those poker runs on the snowmobile throughout this beautiful state that we live in. Because it's a glorious
beautiful.
one.
I mean, you're talking about the Chequamegon Bay up there in
We
Washington.
got to hit a timeout, though, because
I'm
this
sorry.
Sinatra is
I'm
going
off here. Yeah. Sorry.
let it ride. No, this Sinatra's just going to put me to sleep at some particular point.
Yeah,
in time
you
'cause
gotta-
it's beautiful.
I love Sinatra, but you got to think of something a little more upbeat. I mean, he gets it going a little bit.
Listen, we're trying.
I'll get in there with you.
This
Don't
feels
worry.
like a nice plate of lasagnas coming out, and I, for one, am ready to feast on it. We got a big old buffalo of a sports day to hang out here today with.
Nobody does clam sauce like you guys. You know, I just feel like he's gonna tell the waiter. I have no idea why I just said that. It's been a wild 24 hours, but a good one. I think
Doesn't
good.
get better than this. Mike said on the Facebook stream, good morning, boys. Time to trade Yelich. Let's get into that on the other side and a few other deals that we have. And we have a counter to our Bayfield with no stop and go lights. That interaction on the talking text line at 877-794-1973. It's no BS on the game.
Lived up the stair with all that perfumed hair, and it came
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the #1 Jive Talkin'. just getting you right. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a #1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to #1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to #1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the #1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching #3 in the U.S.
Come on with me, chance like us. Baby, we were born to run.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1972.
In May, the Rolling Stones spend the year recording in southern France and release the double album Exile on Main Street. It goes to #1 in both the U.S. and the U.K. California band the Doobie Brothers score a hit off their second album Toulouse Street with the single Listen to the Music. More from the summer of 72, Curtis Mayfield is back on the charts with a soundtrack for the film Superfly. The album yields 2 top 10 hits with Freddy's Dead and the title track. And former Zombies keyboardist Rod Argent has a hit album and a #5 single in the US and the UK with Hold Your Head Up.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Harry Chapin's performance of the song Taxi on The Tonight Show 2 nights in a row leads to a hit. And struggling UK band Mott the Hoople get help from fan David Bowie, who produces their album and writes them a hit, All the Young Dudes, which peaks at #3 in the UK and in the top 40 in the States.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1972.
In May, the Rolling Stones spend the year recording in southern France and release the double album Exile on Main Street. It goes to #1 in both the U.S. and the U.K. California band the Doobie Brothers score a hit off their second album Toulouse Street with the single Listen to the Music. More from the summer of 72, Curtis Mayfield is back on the charts with a soundtrack for the film Superfly. The album yields 2 top 10 hits with Freddy's Dead and the title track. And former Zombies keyboardist Rod Argent has a hit album and a #5 single in the US and the UK with Hold Your Head Up.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Harry Chapin's performance of the song Taxi on The Tonight Show 2 nights in a row leads to a hit. And struggling UK band Mott the Hoople get help from fan David Bowie, who produces their album and writes them a hit, All the Young Dudes, which peaks at #3 in the UK and in the top 40 in the States.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
Did you know your home can cause twice the greenhouse gases of your car? It's true. The good news is you can help with Energy Star. The EPA urges you to take steps to reduce your home energy bills and make a big difference in the fight against air pollution. Visit EnergyStar.gov.
Come on, I don't know. What's the truth, y'all? Come on, I don't know. What's the love, y'all?
Oh, killing people dying, children hurt and living crying. When you practice what you preach, but you turn the other achieve. Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. These people got me questioning. Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love? Where is the love?
It's right here on No BS. Billy Ansarian with you statewide on the game. 1070 The Game in Madison, the flagship home of No BS. You can also find us on the iHeartRadio app, 1070 The Game. Find it at 97.3 The Game on the iHeartRadio app. Still rocking and rolling. Also, wherever you may be listening, you can also be viewing and watching on YouTube, X, and Facebook. That's where our friend Brewer Mike has found us. Hit us up. Said, boys, Brewer Mike this morning. What's going on, Brewer Mike? Always fun to be able to chop it up with Brewer Mike. Now, he had fired in a couple of quick questions about the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll talk some Green Bay Packers and the impending game coming up on Sunday Night Football. But, Armin, we did talk a little bit about a couple of these conversations, or one of these conversations yesterday a little bit with Tim Allen. Got in spirited conversation about finances yesterday.
Gosh, that's
the
awesome.
LA Dodgers and the unlikelihood that the Brewers ever, tread into some of those waters. But one of the individuals that was discussed was the third highest paid Milwaukee Brewer, and this was Freddie Peralta, whose contract in salary from a year ago, Letty, correct me if I'm wrong, was at $8.4 million.
I can't correct you. That's about as good as I would have
It
done.
was
I would
8.3, 8.4 million.
The option, yeah. Well, there's an option coming up for Freddie, right?
What his salary was this past year.
Got it.
Yes. But it's in this. That's basically the same number going forward. You're right. The option year for next year, which is his final year of contractual control, it's around $8.5 million. But last year he was at 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, one of those ones, which ended up equating to what Tommy Edmond makes with the LA Dodgers, which, Armin, is their 13th highest paid player.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, and the golden parachute for Freddie is finally ending. Like, that was the best contract in Brewers history, right?
And especially when you start looking at the longevity of it and what it potentially could bring back in return. That's why it becomes so attractive to potentially trade him. Because, Brewer Mike said sign Freddie or trade him. I think the Brewers would love to sign Freddie Peralta.
Should love to have a guy like that in their rotation.
think 29 other teams would love to sign Freddie Peralta. I don't think anybody's signing Freddie Peralta this year. Now, maybe it would behoove him to sign this year, coming off of the best year of his career, leading the National League in wins, 2.7 ERA.
Yes, 2.7, Billy, with a 1.07 whip.
Those numbers are phenomenal.
Second-time All-Star this year. Obviously,
he's going to finish in the top 5 at worst in MVP balloting.
5.5
Cy Young balloting, pardon me.
Yeah, crazy amount of WAR this year. He's going to be a Cy Young guy. I mean, all these numbers, and he's a
200 strikeouts.
Yeah.
In an era that is dominated by swing and miss. That is an attractive piece.
And a guy that's only amassed now at the age of 29 with all those great MLB seasons, $21 million. Now, I know what you guys are all saying, $21 million. And I'm saying it too. Of course, it's a lot of money. That's more than any of us can dream of. But in baseball terms, that's what a lot of mid guys are going to be making 1 year, right? So he has not had a chance to really break himself off yet. And with this impending CBA situation, he might want to make sure he gets cracked off. You know what I mean?
And at 29 going on 30, you're going to start treading into pitchers get paid. They don't necessarily get the length of years that they used to, right? Like, I think we've seen a lot of contracts go from 9 to 10 year deals with pitchers to 5, 6, or 7, and they can still have insanely high annual value. And I think Peralta is going to be in that ilk. But coming off the best year of his career, contrary to what Willy Adames was doing in 2024, where he was coming off of a 2023 that was one of the lower offensive production years of his career. Homers were there. Defense was there. But he hit like 218, 220.
Correct.
Struck out a ton. And it was suppressing his market. He would not have gotten the deal nearly $180 million with the San Francisco Giants that he did that season.
That's why going and having a great year in 24 was so important. Getting the 30 home runs and all that stuff.
I think Peralta is in a unique circumstance where if the Brewers could make the offer competitive, And what I mean by that is, Armin, they're not going to be the highest money value deal that he was going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
This is where his agent shops around, sees what the deals would look like, finds out what the prospective money would be. And if the Brewers can come within the ballpark of it, then it would make some sense. I don't know, though, that again, when we're talking about, and this is the one that people hate because the Brewers were 4 games away from playing for the World Series. I don't know that it's the most competitive model to try to go with of signing a now 30-year-old starting pitcher who's been great, coming off of a career year top 3 Cy Young balloting, where this might be the top that it gets to. And that, like when we could have foreseen the Brewers trying to spend on Willie Adames, they also would have been paying high, right? Like if the Brewers are going to get one of these deals, like they did early on with Freddie Peralta, like they did early on with Aaron Ashby, one of those is working out a little bit better than the other, like Jackson Chourio, it's going to be early on, and you kind of have to strike while the iron is not hot, right? While the iron is hot for Freddie Peralta, the numbers they're going to hear from Yankees officials, backdoor conversations with the Houston Astros, or insert a number of different teams here.
You got to buy low on these guys. Yeah.
You got to try to buy when the market's down. It's going to be as high as it's ever going to be. Like Mike says, sign him 5 years, $20 million a year. That's going to be light for what Freddie Peralta is going to command ultimately on the open market. And for him to sign early, Armin, like you said, try to grab a little bit of that money before the impending work stoppage, it's still going to be, I think, roughly 25, 26, 27 million a year annually.
Yeah, the tough part is what you said is if we're in the ballpark. And then the question becomes, what is the ballpark? And then that's the nuance there of trying to analyze the market, time the market. And not only that, convince Freddie Peralta's representation that is the market. Because there's a part of it in saying, well, they're like, well, we want to test the market. You can tell us that, look, we're looking at maybe 20-something AAV, 24, whatever it is. But we might think we can get a little more off that. Now, it's easy to say to somebody, this is a competitive offer, all things being equal. Don't you want to be a Brewer? When it's maybe within $1 million or $2 million. But it's not going to be, guys aren't really going to be saving $5-10 million or $20 million to come back. I don't think it's going to happen, right? So that's the other part of that makes it difficult. So what a competitive offer is, and ask yourself, well, is it the best use of our money right now? You know, we got to figure out what we can do with our meager pool. I don't want to make it sound bad, but we're one of the poorer teams in MLB. So we have a smaller pool of revenue, smaller pool of assets, and we have to say, is it worth signing Freddie Peralta for this, or do we want to allocate in other places? And that's the challenge the Brewers are always going to have in relation to some of these other teams and some of these other markets. Always. No matter what you want to hear from the real puffy and huffy Dodger fans that are sharing their memes on social media, whatever you want to hear from them right now, we're not developing the revenue they're going to develop in LA. So we understand we have a certain amount of money. Is it the best move to make? Do we want Freddie? Yes. In a vacuum, everybody wants, I shouldn't say everybody, you want Freddie Peralta.
I do believe pretty much every team's going to want Freddie Peralta.
A lot of teams would take him, especially the price we were just paying him. Now, at what price going forward do you want him? And are you willing to sacrifice other potential avenues of player evaluation and procurement to do that if you're spending that much money on Freddie? You know, that's the tough thing. And can you guarantee his results now going forward the next 3 or 4 years?
Well, and that's the toughest part. That's the toughest part, Armin. As much as I would love to say, because for so long, it felt like Brewers fans were expecting, asking, wanting more out of Freddie Peralta, and it was loud. It was, when is he going to get to this level? When's he going to take this next step? Well, it might have been a different next step, but 200 strikeouts and the volume that he supplied this year, and to the efficiency that he was dominating teams at, and he took the next step. Now, it might not be top 2 or 3 starting pitcher in all of baseball, but I think unanimously he's one of the top 20 starting pitchers in Major League Baseball.
The way he pitched this last year, yes. The problem is you kind of look at that as a peak year. 21 was his other peak year, right?
When he's 29 years of age, a lot of times that's your athletic peak.
So let's say he has good years like he had in 27, 28. Good, not great, but good. Above average, helped your team win a couple, probably like 2 or 2.5, 4. And then had the peak year like this year, where he's in the Cy Young conversation in terms of probably getting votes and things like that. 17-6, had the great ERA, really helped their team. If you could get this Freddie Peralta for the next 4 or 5 years and you could guarantee it, you might think about the money.
Different deal,
but you can't guarantee it. And you have to look at it and say, this might have been his best year. It might have been his peak year looking back on his career. Now, he might have more years like this if he's figured it out. We hope so. But other than that, you have to be okay saying, okay, the risk of signing him is not just the money. It's knowing that he might just give you good years, not great years going forward.
Well, and Phil and Merrimack brings up a great point. And I actually love the counter to it. He goes, would be nice for the owner to retain a fan favorite for once.
That's funny you say that about Freddie.
I would say Yelich was right. I would say Yelich was a fan favorite when he was there. Now, Jackson Chourio was not yet because we didn't realize how awesome he was. Now he's definitely a fan favorite and he's locked up. But I would counter with, I didn't realize Freddie Peralta was the fan favorite.
I think people liked him, but there was, like you said, a lot of criticism of him, a lot of questions of him going into this year. A lot of, is he actually an ace? Well, we got that at the end of the year still. What am I thinking? But a lot of, is he actually an ace? Is he ever going to be consistent? Can you actually count on Freddie to be consistent? You know, no one dislikes Freddie as a dude.
Yes.
Loves his competitive spirit, his impact in the clubhouse, his contributions to the team generally, people were cool with. But they were also cool with it knowing he made $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's already been a lot of levels to it. It's already been a lot of is he really all that good before this year? And especially if you start ramping up his money, because you know how we react around here.
Fair.
If you start making money, it's all right. Now you're making money. Now your ass is in the jackpot. That's all you hear about Yelich. If Yelich made the league minimum, nobody would care about what is.
Well, and that was our laughing matter about Tommy Edman yesterday. Was, could you imagine what we'd be expecting from Tommy Edman?
Absolutely.
2020 seasons, 300, got to be one of the best players on the team. He's Tommy Edman. He's a good player. He's a very good playoff player, as we learned last year as the NLCS MVP, helping them win a World Series. But he's Tommy Edman. There's going to be levels to it. I do think, though, when you're talking about a fan favorite, and Mike asked on the chat, what about William Contreras? I would think William Contreras, maybe a Bryce Durang, hell, Armin's boy, Sal Frelick would be in the ilk of the fan favorite even more. Maybe
Definitely
one of those guys would be locked up. Signing Freddie right now, I don't mean to be too strong with it. I just think it would be a flawed business strategy.
Well, I also think it's a pipe dream. It's a flawed business.
Very true. That's very much true.
Because you're right, Billy. It's a flawed business strategy at what we think he'll cost, right? I mean, if we get some sort of miraculous friendly deal on him, then maybe yes.
I wanted Willie Adames on the baseball team.
Yeah.
Not for $180
million. And that's what
I want Freddie Peralta on the baseball team. Not for 5 years at $150 million.
That's too much.
Now, again, Rhys Hoskins money coming off the books. You talk about a team that's unable to miss. That's your second highest paid player that you couldn't put on the playoff roster.
Yeah.
And you still were a series away from the World Series. You can get close. You can be there. You need to hit again, and it needs to be solid. Another incredible offseason again for Matt Arnold, but it can't happen. We can't be in this spot before. 877-794-1973. 608 texter said, I would love to keep Freddie, but is there another minor league dude that is going to need the Chourio money?
Well,
there are a couple of individuals that are getting close, but I think the Jesus Made and Luis Pena, I think those guys might be a year or so away.
But that is instructive because that's exactly what they did with Jackson. And this whole conversation at the beginning of the segment, we talked about buying low before everyone else was looking at him, before he became a commodity. They did it with Freddie, and he took the deal. That was a big thing. They did it with Jackson Chourio, and will they do it with Jesus Made? And that's the whole point. Is like you almost have to get them to take those deals before they accomplish anything.
Will they do it with Jacob Mizorowski?
Mizorowski is a great question. It's a great question. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Billy, and this is a new regime now, it's been a lot of years now since. A lot has changed. But when they first gave Freddie this extension, if I remember, they offered this to a lot of guys back in the day, right?
100%.
And maybe continue to do it. It's just that most didn't take it.
Yeah.
But Freddie valued the security that came with it. So he took it. So they might be doing this a lot more than we realize, and guys just aren't signing it, taking the lower deal. Or the
absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's buying guys out of a lot of their arbitration, giving you some cost certainty, building in the escalators of, there will be a raise here and there. Freddie Peralta been making a hell of a lot more than $8 million in arbitration. Every team that's going to eye it up this offseason is going to say, whoa, you can have him for $9 million?
It's a great deal, yeah.
We can absolutely do that. So it's also where the Brewers are in right now, putting him, I hate to say this, up for auction, because he's going to be one of the most attractive pieces this offseason. Everybody can be there. Everybody can get to the dance. And then everybody can maybe think that they could sign him long-term. I don't know if they will. I don't know if they actually can. But you can at least get the illusion that you could lock him up and keep him going forward, because Rep 1 Baseball, his agency, is far from Scott Boras, where they won't converse about an extension. I think they potentially would talk.
And really quick, at least you have a precedence of him valuing something besides the top dollar.
Correct.
Like,
yes.
say, okay, in the past, he's been willing to take this type of security for a longer deal, for shorter money.
Oh, spot on.
Now, the thing about that is that could go two ways, right, Billy? That could either make him more prone to doing it again if that's his personality, or that can make him more prone to the opposite, saying, okay, I got to get cracked off now.
Yeah, I did.
Because I saved all this money all this time, right?
I took my deal.
Yeah.
No more discounts.
No more discounts, right.
877-794-1973. Would you sign Freddie Peralta, or would you try to lock up someone else? Because Dilly Dan said, I'd rather keep Brandon Woodruff than Freddie Peralta. Another good conversation. We'll chop that one up on the other side as well. He's Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. It's No BS on the Game.
Tricks on my mind. You're everywhere, but you're so hard to find. You're not home.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Journey songs that you thumbed up. Number 3, Separate Ways, Worlds Apart.
Someday love will find you. Break those chains that bind you. One night will remind you. Oh, don't show away our separate ways.
Number 2, Any Way You Want It.
Even for change. She said, any way you want it, that's the way it is. Any way you want it, oh. I said, any way you want it, that's the way it is. Any way you want it.
Number 1, Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light, people.
Hear more from Journey and similar artists now. Search for Journey on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio. Here are the top Eagles songs that you thumbed up. Number 3, Life in the Fast Lane.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything all the time.
Number 2, Take It Easy.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels make you crazy. Come on, baby. Don't say maybe.
Number 1, Hotel California.
There were voices down the corridor. Thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely place.
Hear more from the Eagles and similar artists now. Search for the Eagles on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their 6th album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released, hits number 14 in the U.S., and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time.
I gotta know right now, before we go any further, do you love me? Will you love me forever?
Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members were killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest you in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
It's a pity, cause we just can't hide. Tinted windows don't mean nothing, they know who's inside. It's tricky to rock around, that's right, on time is tricky. How's it, G? Tricky. It's tricky to rock around, that's right, on time is tricky.
No BS on the game. I'm sorry, I can't hear this song and not think of White Chicks.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And not smile, because that was a phenomenal movie. Oh, you want to talk about Mama?
Oh, what about
Mama time?
the party scene in Friday Night Lights? This is on in the background.
Oh, I did not even realize
all of my time. I'm not singing for
It's just such a good tune. It'll fire you up as much as it needs to on this beautiful Wednesday in the good land. Good morning. 647 across this gorgeous state that we live in. 877-794-1973. How you can get at us on the game. That's where Curtin Grafton hit us up, said, I'd lock up Bryce Terang if we're going to make this a spending spree. Maybe a little spending spree of Mark Atanasio's money, because you got to spend it somehow. You got to find a different way. And I think Terang, Armin, if that's going to be a part of the conversation, this would be the year. We say strike while the iron is hot,
right?
For Bryce Terang. Well, his iron is very hot.
Yeah.
I don't know how much, I can't say I really thought there were 18 home runs in that bad. Then I watch the way Bryce Terang develops this year. You could see 25 home runs in that bat very easily.
What a year. He's gotten better and better. I mean, the defense was always there for Bryce. So that's what makes it interesting, is that there was a thought, in 23, like, boy, this defense, if he ever gets any sort of a bat, because he's a real light hitting guy that year, obviously, when he first came up. I remember that Arizona playoff game. We were hoping he got hit by that ball in the foot, because I'm like, there's no way Bryce is going to get a hit. And he's totally transformed his game the last couple of years, especially this last year with the bat.
Oh, big time.
To the point where you think, and I would say, analyzing it, and the analytics guys would probably say this too, based on the WAR numbers he gets because of the defense. They're like, he's 25 years old. If he does what he does for the next 10, 15 years, that's Hall of Fame type numbers. Now, it's obviously lofty expectation, lofty goal to say all those things, and I'm saying it very early in his career. But if you're trying to be a card counter at the table and looking at the best way to, use analytics or invest
the
money,
predictive numbers,
that's the one.
Line up to Bryce
Terang's the guy to invest in, because in theory, if his defense and his glove plays and he can do somewhat to what he's doing at the plate, that's a lot of wins you can create for yourself.
The tough thing is the two individuals we talked about in the last segment, mentioned very briefly, of Jesus Made, Luis Pena, the guys that would be next from the position player in line to get the Churio deal, a bunch of money even before you make the big leagues or a couple of games into your big league career. Well, they also play middle infield. So it's a tough yin and yang of, we love Bryce Terang. He's awesome. He seemingly is only going to get better. We want that player on our team. However, the way the organization is built, that might be the guy that ends up you maximize for as long as possible and cycle in another one, believing that you're going to hit again. So it's just a weird balancing act. And this would be, though, I think this is the year that if you're going to get Bryce Terang locked up to a deal, it's going to have to be this season.
And is it
going to have to be this offseason?
And if that does happen, will the shortstop conversation come up again? And you brought it up a little bit with Made and the guys coming up.
Very true. Yeah.
Because we don't, is this the last we've heard about that? It was that kind of weird thing in spring training where they tried it, but then his arm got sore and then he stopped.
Well, Joey Ortiz hit us right back into the conversation.
Joey Ortiz hit us right back in the conversation because Joey Ortiz played a really good defensive shortstop this year, but his struggles with the bat. And of course, Made's approach to the big leagues soon is bringing that question up for people. Because I don't think you're moving Bryce Terang out of the lineup, obviously.
No, you're trying to move him up in the lineup.
You might move him up, but you might move, shortstop, second base. You know, Caleb's, I think, established himself as at third, where Joey Ortiz actually hit better. So it's a really weird situation in that sense. But if those guys do, I'm talking about the Mades and the Peñas of the world, what you hope they'll do, you have to figure out now what the future is at those positions.
Yeah, you're locking up a bunch of money. You're throwing money at him. I assume it would be to play shortstop, but who knows? And maybe he is now just very comfortable playing on the right side of the infield and wants to stay there. I don't know, but I do know that I love this one from Random Jim at 877-794-1973. Fellas, Woody over Peralta, either that guy is trolling you for reaction or he is smoking some really, really good stuff over there. Woody is never available in the postseason. He's not going to be unless you sit him 3/4 of the year. I hate to agree with Jim, but the fact of the matter is, like, you can't, if you're going to be committing money to it, to an individual, it's hard to go anywhere long-term with Brandon Woodruff. I think a lot of teams are going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, because of the injury concerns and all that stuff. And I don't even like to compare it because it's a totally different, those two players are in totally different positions.
Totally
in
different
stratospheres. In the stratospheres, in their lives, in their careers, in the market, and in their position. So it's not even a good comparison. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Unfortunately, it's the
unfortunately, we're never going to be able to really have the fair conversation about the Woody extension because of the injuries that have taken away from his opportunity to make that kind of money,
especially in the playoffs, because there's a lot of optimism after he came back this year. Obviously had the incredible comeback, started pitching really well, and he did. He just got hurt again when it came to the playoffs. So it's not that he's useless by any stretch. It's not that there's not a place for him. It's just, what's the value of the market going to be when there's a guy that you just can't count on the health?
Just desperately hope that he's able to figure out a way to pitch again this upcoming year, pitch well, and then make a significant amount of money. Now, maybe that'll be here, right? Like if there's going to be another opportunity where they take a swing, I would assume that he'll be in the conversation, but we shall see. 877-794-1973. There's a ton of good baseball conversation to be had throughout the winter. We'll have a lot more of it. We'll have a lot more football conversation as well at 877-794-1973. Had a really fun one yesterday with Aaron Nagler on Carry the G, Armin, and getting a ton of interaction on social media after it that, listen, people are excited for this game coming up this weekend.
I like that. I love
it. People are also a little nervous about one piece of this game coming up this weekend where Aaron Rodgers going up against the Green Bay Packers kind of favors the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it might be targeting a certain individual that got locked up to a 4-year, $48 million contract in the offseason to play corner. A lot of Nate Hobbs conversation yesterday on Carry the G Radio, and it got hot. It also continued to stay hot. So we'll revisit a little bit of that as we start gaining momentum, gearing up for the Green Bay Packers to take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. 7:20 kickoff on your new Milwaukee flagship home for Packers football, 95.7 Big FM. You're going to be hearing Wayne Larrabee, voice of the Green Bay Packers, doing that, doing the game right there, starting up at 5. Armin Sarian's going to have our network coverage anchored back here, myself and Drew Olson, late into the night on Packers OT, and then waking up with you as we always do on the No BS Morning Show. Andrew Ludwig on the other side, Armin Sarian right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. It's No BS, waking up with you on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to #1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with the #1 single Saturday Night.
Saturday night.
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a #2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits #1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you show me the way every day. I want you show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a #12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Them
listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1976, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Ain't it time we said goodbye?
The Rolling Stones are back on top with the #1 album in the US and the UK and a #1 single, Angie.
Come on, baby.
Let's Get It On is a #1 single and a #2 album for Marvin Gaye. Also in August of '73, Stevie Wonder is back with the #4 album, Inner Visions. And Florida band Leonard Skinner released their debut album, have a top 20 hit with Freebird, and tour opening for The Who. Fast forward to October, where on their 8th album, the Steve Miller Band debut a smooth blues rock sound and score a #1 hit with The Joker.
I'm a joker, I'm a smoker, I'm a midnight toker. I sure don't want to hurt no one.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1973, coming up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Prince songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, Little Red Corvette.
It was Saturday night, I guess that makes it alright. You say, baby, I ain't got enough gas. Oh yeah, Little Red Corvette. Maybe I'm much too fast. Yes, you are.
Number 2, 1999.
2000 party over, oops, out of time. So tonight I'm gonna party like it's 1999.
Number 1, When Doves Cry.
Baby, you're just like my mother. She's never satisfied. Why do we scream at each other? This is what it sounds like when doves cry.
Hear more from Prince and similar artists now. Search for Prince on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their 5th album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to #1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of '73, George Harrison scores a #1 single, Give Me Love, from the #1 album Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to #1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Dwayne Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to #2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1973, coming up.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots, save made, rebound, score! Pregame on Friday at 8:30, face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Let's make some romance.
Hey, Andrew Ludwig. Damn, buddy.
What do I need to do?
Swing down. This is big for the Badger students, right?
Oh, I didn't.
This is the big Camp Randall song. It used to be back in the
I
day.
didn't know if Luddy was just trying to insinuate something.
Oh, that's a whole different story. Maybe a whole different
Lord,
type of
Luddy,
show.
Let's go. Let's have some
Pineapple
fun.
Lamp?
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest with
Say,
you.
this
You
guy's
got
having himself a warning here.
that would make for an interesting segment if there's
Says
something
Happy
going
Hump
on.
Day.
Hey, that's a different type of deal there.
And on the other side of the glass, we've got
We don't really know that much as we think, I believe, about Luddy's personal life.
Very, very, very accurate
You know what I'm saying?
depiction of the
Like,
situation.
We
Yes.
somewhat think we know about Luddy's personal
Okay.
life.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
East Side, single guy. I like all that stuff. He's been a bartender. He's had all these experiences. He's always coming in here with a new story about something that happened the night before.
Definitely an onion.
Like, I went out this weekend. I got 19 more stories. Okay. Who did I see at Joe Katz? I don't know, Luddy. Who did you see at Joe Katz? What kind of girl were you
But
with?
you gotta peel them back, because then also it ties back to a story from yesteryear, and then we'll get back into like something that happened from 2018. So like
right.
the storytelling from Luddy is getting better.
it's getting better.
But we got to focus in on the good, juicy information,
Who's
and
that?
we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I like this.
Armin,
Is that-
here's my
I
problem.
heard that was a
I-
recurring thing there. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I
Luddy.
jump to some of the outlines of stories at times, or just the juicy part of it, and I forget the outline. You know what I mean? So like,
But that's not bad because you're
Well-
teasing the nice stuff in the promo.
yeah, I'm
Think about that.
No,
But I'm
he's
still-
going straight for the jugular, and then supplying a lot more of the background is kind of what I'm hearing.
it
You're
depends
fine,
on the
Luddy.
moment, but yeah,
Yeah.
and how excited I am. I'm like
Yeah.
JoJo the Indian Circus Boy with Chris Farley and Tommy Boy. I get too
Sure.
excited
Yeah,
sometimes,
100%.
and
Love that movie.
yeah, I'm working on it. It's slow progressions. I'm still in year 2 for radio.
It's a
so,
slow burn. Well, listen, and
of getting paid. That is
the other
excuse me.
part of it is just being able to develop the story. No one's going to be as good of a storyteller as Armin Sarian.
No,
You can only dream to be at that point.
I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if it's sarcastic because sometimes I do not think I'm a great. I want to be a great storyteller,
Don't we
but
all?
sometimes I wonder.
Passion that you bring to the story, even if it's you going and grabbing some of your favorite Daisy Dips,
Yeah, I love those. By the way, I
it'll
think,
ratchet up
yeah.
to a 28.
Mhm.
And sometimes the moment necessarily
Right.
doesn't call for that. However, if you just want to feel excitement at every
like
given moment
generational
of the day,
excitement.
I
like
appreciate
generational excitement, Luddy,
generation.
Armin Sarian is your story.
I do appreciate that that term, and we'll get to Daisy Dips at the end of the segment here.
Oh, we will. Okay, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I do appreciate that. I would like that to be a talent of mine, so I'm hoping I'm getting better at it. It's only it has to come. The stories though, they have to happen to you, and they do happen to you organically, Luddy, which is the first step.
Well, yeah.
Things happen around you and with you in terms of stories that I'm like, where type of situations does this guy get himself into? Because there's always something wild that's going on. But sometimes you just in that moment. Speaking of grocery stores, one time a lady came up to me. This was like years ago. I think it's during COVID or right before COVID, freaking out in the grocery store because she didn't know if mild was hotter than medium in the salsas. And it was one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. I couldn't make something like that up. So I remember telling that story on Drew and KB like 5 or 6 years ago. And they thought it was a hilarious story. And I'm like, I appreciate that, but this is a real story that happened to me. So that's kind of what you made me think about when you just said that. It's got to happen to you organically. And when these things happen, you just kind of relate.
You got to go with it.
You
Yes.
got to go with it. So I don't know. That's good news. I appreciate that.
What did you
Letting
tell
on
her?
your way. I said yes. I just didn't understand how you could go through your
How
life.
taken aback were you?
Taken aback. Taken
By that
aback.
question.
Now listen, I was so shocked at her panic. She goes, "Are you telling me?" She's like, "Wait, medium." She goes, "Medium's more than mild, right? Or less than mild? More."
So this is 5 to 6 years ago.
Long time ago.
So definite full Bluetooth earpiece in as I'm trying to picture the situation that you're explaining.
Sure, yeah.
Most likely. Or she was on the phone freaking out, trying to talk to any human being that was around her to clarify her answer.
And the weird thing is, she was kind of an older lady. I'd say like 60s. You know,
Okay.
not to like say old. I'm not trying to age just anybody.
No, but again, more context because I was looking
Yeah.
at panicked,
She wasn't like a high
30s,
school
40s
kid.
mom or something.
Or it wasn't like a high school kid that never really went shopping
Got
on
it.
her own.
Okay.
See, we're getting the outline and the meat. Here we go.
This is how you do it.
Well,
Meet the
what's-
Let me
potatoes of
sit down for the
situation.
rest of the story.
And
Let's
what-
develop the characters a little bit.
What I was shocked to know, for me, this was what took me aback. You went through that many years of your life not knowing if medium was hotter than mild. Like, how did you go through that far of life not understanding the levels of salsas? Like, I could not understand
Doesn't even
that.
really know if she's a
Hasn't she
spice
been
kind
to
of
Taco
girl.
Bell? Hasn't she been to Taco Bell?
Even if you never
Mild,
chose the
medium,
spice,
hot.
even
I don't
if
know.
you
Is
don't
fire
like it,
hot?
Diablo. Oh, fires.
Okay, now that's the whole thing
There
with
is no
Starbucks
medium.
with
Oh,
Vendi
geez,
Grande,
yeah, what am I
Genti, or
saying?
whatever it is. Yeah,
I get her confusion maybe. Here.
I
Yeah,
understand.
correct. It's a
I
little harder
understand.
than you think.
You walk into Starbucks, you don't know if Venti's the big or the small, or the Grande or the whatever. I get that.
I had
Well,
that
you-
conversation with Leroy Butler actually recently.
See, this is what I'm saying. Now he gave me that tease. Are you kidding me? You just teased the coffee conversation with Lori Butler, and you're just gonna drop it on me. And
It was at the Greeby's bakery opening in Shorewood when he was there for a couple Sundays ago.
Hanging out with Drew and KB. Yeah.
Of course he was.
It was a good old time. With, yeah.
He shakes every hand. He's at every ribbon cutting.
Well, listen, you're talking about Pick and Save or a Metro Mart. Leroy
Right.
Butler's going to be there.
Oh yeah,
Once
Metro Mart.
again,
Excuse me, not Peck and Save.
That's okay. We can get it
100%.
right. Well, I think they're owned. Once again,
We're not going to put
back to the
everyone else's
grocery
business
stores.
out there.
Well,
yeah.
once again,
But you go to a Pick and Save or a Metro Mart, you're going to hear
Yeah.
Leroy Butler. And you potentially might see Leroy Butler because he actually just lives there.
he's always there. He's always, when I go shopping, he's always on the intercom. Tell me what aisle to get the great deals in. So it's
And where to find his, game day brats.
Leaf vodka.
We're going to need some game day brats, maybe some Leaf
Yes.
vodka coming up on Sunday night. Packers and Steelers, 7:20 Sunday night football. This is one that the network, I would assume when the schedule comes out, this gets locked quickly up by NBC because of the excitement and the anticipation. But also, remember when this is locked up and put together, Steelers, Packers, Aaron Rodgers wasn't a Pittsburgh Steeler. This was all forecasting and kind of hoping, praying that he would end up being the Steelers quarterback.
Yeah.
And here we are. I don't know that though, Armin, even the more optimistic of TV producers and network executives could have thought that both teams would come in here as good as they are, at least positioned as well, both leading their division.
Yeah, you hope for that. You kind of pray for that as one of those network executives, and sometimes it
Maybe
works
that's
out.
wrong of them because the Steelers were leading the division for the majority of the year last year until the Ravens went and chased them down.
That's a good point. And sometimes you predict and it doesn't work, like the Bengals games this year, right? They've been getting some dogs now that Burrow's been injured, although maybe Flacco's breathing life into him, but they're getting everything they wanted to and more, I would think. Now, Billy, I would say Packers going to the Steelers. It's not the same as that first Vikings-Packers game when Brett came back for obvious reasons, right? I don't think the same deep type of emotion there. Steelers are a touchstone franchise in this league, but they're not a rival of the Packers traditionally in that sense.
They
They're not a
were
hated-
one day in 2011 though.
Yeah, well, obviously, yes, but they're not like a hated rival, right? So it's not that situation.
Much more respected
Yeah.
competitor.
Right.
And it's not at Lambeau. Now, I think a big factor here is this as well. We remember, it's easy to forget now how acrimonious the departure was with Favre, and especially passing on the torch to Rodgers.
Mhm.
It was outlined in Gunslinger by Perlman, that book, and how he didn't really help. It was really the opposite with Aaron. Whatever issues he had with the organization, him and Jordan Love generally have had a great relationship. He's kind of rooted for him as he left.
Yeah, he never let that seep into their
Never.
personal relationship.
And anything we've heard is that he's only been very helpful to Jordan, supporting him, happy for him, didn't feel threatened by him, all those things. So because of that, I think the relationship, because it's more friendly, has a little less acrimonious, and therefore the juice wasn't quite there when it was Brett and Aaron, and Brett clearly wanted to prove that he was better than Aaron still.
Well, and the funny thing is, you mention it of the first time that the Packers played the Vikings with Brett Favre there, and mention it not being a home game. Also, the thing is, we also kind of just completely forget the first time they played was still in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right. Like we just immediately still go back to the
point.
first time Favre returned. But that game, what was it, week 5 or 6?
4.
Week 4 of that game of that season, early Monday Night Football, and it was hyped to the 9.
And
Like,
lived up
that
to
was as loud of the Metrodome as we had heard. And you're right, it lived up to it. It was a good game. And it was also one of those, I mean, was that Clay Matthews ripped the ball out and housed it? Like that was a hell of a performance by both of them.
Yeah, that was kind of Clay Matthews coming on the scene. The O-line was so banged up. You had Alan Barber having to switch from that position to another one during the game. I think he had to go to left tackle. So yeah, the Packers were really banged up offensively. Jermichael Finley had a great catch and run during the game.
Yeah, we
but
stretched it out for that first score. I mean, that was a wild game. Yeah.
It was, but the Packers just they were, as soon as they get on the doorstep, Favre would throw another touchdown.
Mhm.
They were just so hyped. Armin, the
3 TDs from Favre. He was
so
phenomenal.
fired up.
yeah, Packers playing the Steelers. Steelers are wearing their throwbacks. Vikings also wore their throwbacks week 4 in 2009.
That's a good point. I do remember that. They're not as garish though as these throwbacks are.
Yeah,
They're
the
just
Vikings
traditional,
70s are looks fine. but-
regular looking Viking jerseys. But yeah, these are going to be. That's one thing I can't get over, Billy. Is we're going to see all yellow helmets in the field, right? For the first time in history.
Nope,
I
first
think-
time since 53 or 4
yeah.
a game
When
at
the
City
Packers and
Stadium,
Steelers played?
actually. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So I don't know if I'm going to like that, but I think Brett was so fired up about that game that he raised his level of play so much, which is, I mean, he could do that. He had an amazing year that year for the Vikings. That
Arguably the best one of his career.
I think we'll see a good game again. I think we'll see good play by both sides, but not because of I don't think the motivation because of being scorned or being upset. That type of motivation that was there for Packers Vikings will be there for this Packers Steelers game.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. And we kind of mentioned it yesterday when Nags and I were talking about it, that it comes down to the emotional relationship with the two.
Yeah.
And even though there's probably, I guess, still not necessarily an equal, but there's not the openly rooting for Aaron Rodgers Packers fans.
Great point.
All right.
No one
as there was for Brett Favre.
Well,
like there were actually
Jets.
people that
Yeah.
completely turned their fandom. And we were mentioning it yesterday on Carry the G, where he's like, are you guys actually asking me the question of will I be rooting for Aaron Rodgers? I'm like, because that was a real question when it was Brett Favre. Because there were a lot of people that did say my allegiance is more with the man in the 4 jersey than whatever emblem is on the helmet. And that is even for millennials that, and Gen Zers, right? Is that the right one? Or am I skipping a generation?
I think you're going down. You're right, Gen Z.
Right.
Gen X.
When Aaron authored the best moments of the early 30s and younger fandom moments, right? Like he was the guy for a lot of those peak moments of your fandom, and he's still going to be your guy. I don't know that there's anybody that has cleanly said for 17 weeks in 2025, I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, because I don't know that they necessarily enjoyed themselves with the New York Jets enough.
Yeah, that's exactly the good point. And you're right, Billy. I remember.
And maybe the 2 years with New York and the full season missing action has something to do with this as well.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And you're right. There were so many Packer fans that were buying Jets stuff, that were wearing Jets stuff.
The New York Bretts.
Yeah, the New York. They're like, hey, look, I'm going where Brett is. And Billy, now this was it's 15 years ago, right? So you know how I am now about fan gatekeeping. Just imagine how I was back then. I was so mad about Packer fans just completely throwing away their Packer fan allegiance to follow a guy.
Me and you both, man.
I was demanding that they never get a chance to root for the Packers. I'm you're leaving the Packers now and you're not rooting for the Packers.
How are we not getting these takes on a radio?
I'm like, you are not a Packer fan. You don't deserve to ever be a Packer. I was so mad about that. I probably was a little over the top back then, but I was so mad that people were ready to just throw out their full fan allegiance for one guy.
Do you think that at any point in time you may have put some of these down in a Facebook post that we could potentially go and grab the memories
MySpace,
of?
maybe? I think that was still kind of registered.
MySpace.
I will look for some old Facebook
You still have
posts.
that password?
Because we definitely need
look
to
for
find some more of that content.
There's nothing better than seeing those memories pop up from 15 years ago, right, Billy? When you're talking trash to all the different high schools.
Billy,
yes.
All right, where were you in life? This was my
Yeah.
senior year summer going into freshman year of college.
Right.
So, I mean, this was a memorable summer for a lot of reasons. But when Brett was kind of going through that summer, I remember he went on a Tonight Show type show and said, well, Vince Lombardi once left the Packers. I went, you're kidding me. You just Vince Lombardi, you just compared yourself to Vince Lombardi, dude?
You go on Fox News or something, Greta or something?
Well, that was like the hardcore. All right, now I really need to be traded. This is some BS. But he kind of flirted around doing a lot of stuff between March and June, July.
In the all shucks, but come on, everyone left the Packers. Vince Lombardi left the Packers. You could just see Luddy in the midst there at 11 o'clock, a couple of Natty Light cans underneath.
Oh my gosh, just loving life. Yeah. Now I was out of college a year or two, working at the flagship at the time across the street.
Oh, wow.
So it's a very exciting time because people were very involved.
So you're right in it.
Yeah.
But I was still young enough where we were hanging out with my buddies a lot still after college, that little time, and you really did experience that crucible of everyone talking about it and being, part of a new change. And it was like, I remember watching it at one of the bars on Water Street during family night when the plane was coming in for Brett and the idea that he would come back. So it was pretty crazy. But Billy, I will dig deep into the Facebook memories, see if I have any great.
Please find one, because Armin did find one during the March Madness run this year during the NCAA tournament, of him breaking down the bracket from, I believe, 2011.
Yeah, I did. I did have a long one.
Facebook Live. Our special on Armin Sarian's Facebook page.
At Facebook Live in
That's the kind of stuff we need to be finding.
Hey, you guys, we gotta go on. That was a big thing. We gotta go on live on Facebook.
We gotta go live on Facebook. Hey, Joe in Pewaukee is checking in, and we finally got him. The Aaron Rodgers Steelers jersey will be worn Sunday. Easy to root for Rodgers and the Steelers this weekend, but the Packers the rest of the year.
Yeah, I don't root against Aaron, but I'm not going to root for him against my team. How can you say it's easy to root for him this week? That's really weird energy. You know,
stand on that gate. Come on,
that's just weird energy. You're either a Packer fan or you're not. I mean, you're either rooting for the G or you're not, right?
For 1 week, every other week he's a Green Bay Packers fan.
Cool. If you're deep down watching the Green Bay Packers game and you don't deep down want them to win and hurt when they lose, you're not a Packer fan. You are a football fan that cosplays as a Packer fan.
Oh,
and that likes and that is a casual fan. No,
I just love that word because it sounds sexual, but it's not.
It does sound very
sexual.
Very
it sounds
sexual.
like a furry convention. It always does.
You
All right, here you
idea.
go.
So no, but let
Go
me hear it a little bit more. So you're a football fan, just not a Packers fan.
I think Nick Bruswitt's a great example, right? Nick grew up in an era where kids weren't as team aligned as others. He has a favorite team. He talks about the Steelers, but he always wears shirts of everybody. He's a legit football fan. I think he's a Steeler fan, but he also is just chill about it sometimes, you know?
He thinks he's a Steelers fan too.
You tell me you're a Packer fan, but you're not going to cheer for the Packers? Okay.
What? He's cheering for the Packers, just not this week.
Okay, cool. So we're going to pick and choose
one week. I think it's an interesting study. Hey, we all have favorite players. And for different teams and different situations, that individual player can sometimes become more than the logo. I wonder if one individual that's playing for the Milwaukee Bucks potentially for his final season might be that for a group of fans. 877-794-1973. I want more of that. If you're rocking a Steelers jersey this weekend,
let's hear it.
Or other weekends of the football season, we'll hear from you at 877-794-1973. And Armin Sarian's going to stand on that fan gatekeep and enjoy the hell out of it. It's a Bucks start the NBA season Wednesday. Even though it's gloomy outside, it's hot in the Iron Jack studio. It's no BS on the game.
All right, I promised it, and I'm going to deliver it here at the end of the segment. Let's talk about my new obsession, Daisy French onion dips. One of my guilty pleasures during football season when I'm cheering for the Packers is eating dips with chips, wings, and veggies while watching the big game. And now Daisy came out with a delicious Daisy French onion dip and a Daisy Ranch dip, and these are game changers. Delicious as any homemade dip you're going to make. They're made with real herbs and spices and the other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. So I want to give you an invitation. All right, go out to your local grocery store, look for it near you, give Daisy French onion dip a try. Guys, I did go grocery shopping. I went to the dips. I'm telling you, they're getting low. I think I'm moving dips. I'm just letting you guys know I think I'm moving dips. The supply is getting low. So look for Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound, score. Pregame on Friday at 8:30. Face off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of '67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Yeah, ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Michael Jackson songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, The Way You Make Me Feel. Number 2, Beat It. Number 1, Billie Jean.
She just a girl, I'm the one. The chair doesn't wrap my son.
Hear more from Michael Jackson and similar artists now. Search for Michael Jackson on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio. Here are the top John Mellencamp songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hurt So Good.
Hurt so good. Come on, baby, make it hurt so good. Sometimes love don't feel like it should, baby. Hurt so good.
Number 2, Small Town.
No, I cannot forget from where it is that I come from. I cannot forget the people who love me. Yeah, I can be myself here in this small town. And people let me be just what I want to be.
Number 1, Jack and Diane.
Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. To walk on.
Hear more from John Mellencamp and similar artists now. Search for John Mellencamp on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
It's April 1973. Friday night TV means such must-sees as The Brady Bunch, The Odd Couple, and Love American Style. On the radio, Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Steely Dan have their first hit, Do It Again. Not long before their induction, co-founder Donald Fagen recalled an item he wasn't able to donate to the Cleveland Museum.
My parents live in Cleveland, and my niece, Emily, practices piano on the same piano I learned on. It's very cheap, Acrosonic, Spin It. And they were going to get a new piano, so they said, well, what do you want us to do with your old piano? And I said, well, I don't want to ship it back here. I tell you what, let me call the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and see if they want it. And they said they didn't have room for it, so I had to ship it back to New York.
Jack, do it again. We'll turn it round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again. Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. It started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss, it was only a kiss. Now
No BS on the game. Billy Ansarian with you statewide. My main man, Armin Sarian, right there. Andrew Ludwig's on the other side. I'm Billy Schmidt, and we are statewide with you and streaming all over this beautiful world on YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter. Most people still refer to it as Twitter.
Still do.
I just can't call it an X post. I just can't. I apologize.
What about an X video?
Oh, here we go.
That's
here
a totally
we go.
different deal.
Don't
Buddy.
type that one in.
Totally different deal. Can't do it. Quit asking.
Here we go. Now, are we going to get together now in 20 years and they're going to ask the kids, what memory do you have of Twitter when they called the X Twitter? I had no idea. I have no memory of it.
That'll be on some kid's podcast at some particular point in time. This is also a podcast. You can also find the podcast wherever you find your podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can find No BS with Billy Ansarian, but best place to find it is the iHeartRadio app, iHeart Audio app, as many people are referring to it, because they got all your favorite audio options right there on that beautiful app. So download it today, make it a preset, and hang out with us whenever you can. But you can chat with us on the YouTube and X stream, and we can find you and pull it up. Like here, our friend Ben with a beautiful pup there as the picture. You can root for Rodgers to do well if you're a Packers fan, but you can't root for the Steelers to win if you're a Packers fan.
And then he goes on to say, I want that dummy's logic work the opposite for this week as well. He can root for Rodgers every other week, but not this week. All right.
Dummy.
I think it's pretty now. Yeah, now I don't have to get to the name calling, but I understand it because this is an emotional topic and it gets us emotional, right? But I got to be honest with you. I kind of agree with Ben. I don't get the logic there. I don't get the logic. If you were a Rodgers fan and a Packers fan, wouldn't you root for him every other week? Not this one. I think maybe that's what he's trying to say. I don't want to give the benefit of the doubt too much, but
I think the statement is I'm more of an Aaron Rodgers fan while he's playing football than a Green Bay Packers fan for this year. And I also think I think the impending retirement makes it a different conversation.
Last chances to see him.
It's your last chance to watch him play ball.
Yeah.
And again, for a group of fans that he is their Brett Favre, he's their Bart Starr for a number of different people. I understand that there is a group of individuals that despise a lot of what Aaron stands for at this particular point. I think there's a lot of people that love the fact that he says whatever he damn well pleases.
That's a good point. There are.
But there is an emotional resonance with Brett that has never been felt by the majority of the fan base like Aaron.
Yeah.
Or Aaron. But for the few, I get it. I do get, like, you have a favorite player. It's your last chance to watch that dude. He has meant so much to your entertainment in watching pro sports and your fandom as a sports fan. And one last chance to have him be able to go out on top. And this seemingly is as on top as they're going to get. I don't think Steelers are winning the Super Bowl. Maybe they're going to go to the AFC title game.
Right.
I guess I'd be a little bit surprised. But who should? Maybe I shouldn't be. Right now, they're the 4th seed. They're 4-2, and they can play with just about anybody.
And you know what? I think the whole farewell tour aspect of it, because we assume it's his last year, that he pretty much said that, right? He hasn't officially said it.
Yeah, he's made it pretty clear this is his last year.
That has something to do with it too, and I agree. And let's use an example that we're talking about recently because, well, the NBA and NBC is back as well, right? That was a big deal. NBA has returned to NBC last night. That was nostalgic for a lot of, sports fans that was their heyday and watching Michael Jordan play, right? So I'm not saying Rodgers is Jordan, but they're both, going to be in their Hall of Fame's perspective, going to be all-time greats and stuff like that. So we talk about farewell tours, during the farewell tour of Michael Jordan, if you were in Washington and, Denver and whatever, pick a market, and Jordan came to town, there was definitely a lot of people cheering for Jordan because he was their favorite player, the most transcendent athlete in the sport. He was a spectacle to see, and most of the country was a Jordan fan in general. You just were. I mean, that might be an example of what we're talking about. Now, like, I know I went to Jordan's couple of his last games in Milwaukee in the 90s when they played the Bucks, and I was there at my Ray Allen jersey. I was there as a Bucks fan. I was 13. But there were definitely a lot of people in those stands cheering for the Bulls that weren't from Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, the Bulls were just that transcendent of a brand, and Jordan was that transcendent of an athlete.
Kind of like, real quick, when Jeter came to Miller Park in 2015, you saw people like, hey, you're a Yankees fan? Literally, there's probably 5,000 to 10,000 Yankees fans that probably weren't from New York.
The one time the Lakers came here every year.
Oh, gosh.
Kobe.
There were always a lot of Kobe's.
Yeah. And Kobe hit the buzzer beater.
Oh,
it was a
in
shot.
09.
It was 09.
John McLaughlin was just
shot in the heart for me.
Yeah.
And there were so many fans cheering at they're from Milwaukee. So that might be a good example of that. Far be it to me to say how you should fan. I mean, you can have a favorite player. One player was that transcendent, and Aaron Rodgers absolutely was. And he makes you feel that way about him. I get it. You're cheering for him, but there's some of us that still cheer for the home team.
I was in this spot with the 608. I followed 12 and became a Jets fan, then fell in love with them. Now I'm JETS, Jets. Tough to be a 608 spot in there. I traveled with Brett Favre to the New York Football Jets.
Yeah.
Had the Favre Jets jersey. And then once he left and they were in the AFC title game, turned that into a Darrelle Revis jersey with the aid of some duct tape.
Smart move.
But like I couldn't go to the bitterest of rival. But the NFC AFC team, I think there's a lot of people that like, I got an AFC team. I think it's a lot easier there. Same deal. You mentioned the Derek Jeter spot, Luddy. I mean, you're talking to one of them. that was a huge Jeter fan when I was a kid, because as much as Junior Spivey was a tremendous player to cheer for, it was a little more fun to cheer for the coolest player in the game, right? Like, so when you're that young and you're that impressionable, he was very, very monumental to so many people's attention span to sports, that I don't think that there's only Joe and Pewaukee. He also did clarify, he goes, I do want both teams to win the division, and so does my bet, which I appreciate from Joe.
Oh, now we're getting to it, really.
We do also have to cheer with our wallet and not only our heart. Only Phil said, unacceptable. You can't cheer against your team 1 week or never. I'll keep this gate with you, Armin. I'd accept this as a week off. I'd accept this on a 1 week off from a Chicago sports fan, but not up here. We don't do that.
I like that. I like that. We're exceptionalists. We are different. I like that a lot.
That is very Armin. Sorry.
So we got Ben's comment. Let's get Zach's on YouTube here. Get a little counterpoint. Now this is a two-parter. Zach here had so much to say that he couldn't fit it all in one. So I'm going to try and get both. Armin, you can see it on the YouTube window. Armin, I may have my Rogers Steelers jersey on under my Love jersey Sunday. Okay, but it's under the Love jersey. You know,
under the Love jersey.
He's my favorite player of all time.
Closer to the heart.
That's a fair point. He's closer to the sweat too. He's my favorite player of all time. And a lot of people dislike him for the way it ended. Both true, right? I mean, he's a lot of favorite players. He's one of my favorite Packers ever. If your employer hired a rookie, let me just try and get this in here. Okay. If your employer hired a rook and said, hey, train him up and have him ready in 1 to 2, maybe 3 years to take your job after you dominated your job for 15 years, what would you say? Well, that's interesting you say that. But anyway, so I get to the Packer fandom, but there's levels there. Well, we do kind of experience that sometimes. But the difference is, Zach, most jobs are jobs for people. They're not teams. They're not fans. You know, you're not rooting for a company. You know what I mean? It's just a different type of thing. Some
would root against certain companies.
Now,
go ahead.
Right. Now, individually, you probably feel a certain type of way if you're working that job and they made you train a younger guy. Oh, I get that. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers necessarily should feel great about it. In fact, I always thought Aaron Rodgers took the high road in this whole situation with the Jordan Love thing.
Totally, yeah.
He could have easily reacted the way Favre did, and he didn't. But it's just a little different of a situation when you're cheering for teams and not companies. That being said, the Packers had to move on at some point.
Also hard for Armin to speak on, because whenever somebody would walk into the radio station, Armin was the first person that trained him.
Yeah, I was used to doing that, which wasn't something I disliked. I enjoyed trying to, help and
did
whatever.
It to the nicest way possible, because you're a great human being.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And you're a great teammate, great coworker, like Aaron Rodgers wanted to be, as you mentioned, a great teammate.
So he was.
It was.
Absolutely.
Because he experienced it on the other side of this is counterproductive for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
However, when that should maybe get celebrated a little bit more, I think there were a lot of different detractors. And again, all of this was brought upon, mostly all of it was brought upon Aaron by himself.
Yes.
Right? Like, there's a lot of ways, even as one of the hardest core Aaron Rodgers stands out there, you can very much admit, man doesn't make it easy on himself all the time. Not as difficult as maybe a LeBron James makes it on his fans, a lot of different ways to be able to defend. But there's times that
we like Hennessy.
A lot of people, one of my favorites. But it is one where it changes up the equation when he's your favorite player of all time, and it's the last chance to go get it, to go and watch him. But I also love people on the talking text line saying this is not right. Matt, if a person cheers for a player, then they are a football fan. If they cheer for a team first, then they are a true Packer fan. I cheer for the team long before I cheer for a player.
I mean, why can't you just root for him to do well in the game then, and hope the Packers win? Wouldn't that be the most ideal outcome for you if you're one of those guys? But
that's what I heard David Bakhtiari saying. He goes, I want the Packers to win.
Yeah.
But I want Aaron to play very well.
And he's friends with, there's a personal there. He's friends with Aaron.
Okay.
I can't really compare that to Jim and Ocanto that's watching the game, right?
All right, let's say NAU gets.
But that's kind of how this rolls.
I know.
You're going to tell me that you don't think you're again, you're not personally friends with Giannis, but you're personally invested in them. You're personally vested in the human being.
Right.
I think that's pretty unfair.
Well, I'm just saying I'm realistic enough to know it's not the same, that I'm not actually friends with Giannis. You know what I mean? He's really legitimately personal friends with him.
I get it. But again, this is if you're going to get passionate about it, you go to this point.
You do grow that passion, that personal connection, so that's fair. Like, yeah,
somebody that asks for the personal relationship or
I know
for the guy, I think that we can look at it on that side.
Okay, so like if Giannis went somewhere else, it'd be really hard to sit there and look at Giannis and say, I don't want you to do well. But I'd still hope the Bucks had a higher score in the end of the game.
Amen.
You know,
Amen
that's
to
all. That's what
Maggie
I mean.
in Georgia. Nope. G, go Pack, go 24/7, 365. Once you leave God's country, you're done. With very few exceptions. Reggie, Charles, Jordy, because they didn't want to leave. Also, Aaron also didn't really want to leave. I think he was kind of told that they were moving on.
That's a good point.
At the girls' basketball tournament, he was told.
That's fair. Yeah, no doubt.
So here's a good example. Chris Middleton tonight, right?
Another good one.
Chris Middleton.
Phenomenal one.
All-time Buck legend. I don't think it's fair to say anything else except Buck legend. Should have his number retired. Probably will. All those things. Obviously very important to our most important guy, Giannis.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping he misses shots tonight. I am. Now, I love Chris Middleton. I hope I get emotional and tear up. I love what he did for this community. But for one night, I don't want him to win.
That's a good one. Also, I don't know that there were a ton of people going to cheer on the Wizards. However, man, that's a tough deal. If you're a Chris Middleton fan and you're locked in on the Chris Middleton is good, that's going to be a tough watch for 82.
Ask Alex Poole. Her brother was on the team for the last couple of years, and she's like,
that's a tough watch, dude. That's a tough watch.
Chris Middleton, by the way, we'll get to it probably at some point more. I don't want to spend too much time. Got to be one of the most likable dudes you could have possibly had, right? Perform for you, consistent, never complain about anything, never a problem, team player, efficient. And even for the old guys, Billy, he's the last guy that had the mid-range game, right? He had that mid-range game going. He brought back the mid-range for you. He would back him down and hit fallaways just like the heyday. So, yeah, that's maybe an example where you do have feelings for a guy coming back. Happy to see it, but can't say I'm cheering for their team to win. That's just another level of that. So,
Jeremy and Oshkosh, I love this one. I honestly don't know how any Green Bay fan could dislike Aaron Rodgers. He is and always will be one of my favorite NFL players, and I would so much love to see him win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too far off there with him, Jeremy. You know, we had this debate for many, many years and many summers here as that situation was going on. But as you know, Billy, there are plenty out there that don't have one iota of like for him. Or maybe I'm exaggerating, but a lot of people have no interest in him, right? I mean, I even saw the comments when he was upset at old boy for jumping on his back. After who was it? I'm blanking.
Roderick Jones,
right? Jumps on his back. Aaron's like, "What are you doing, man? I'm an old man. I'm gonna get hurt. Stop that." Here we go again. Aaron makes it about him. Here we go again. They thought Aaron was one of the boys, and he's not.
You don't treat a teammate like that. Right. You don't talk to a teammate like that. Oh, I heard it too.
Some of those same people are the same people that had a Jets flag up in 2008.
Oh, sure.
For the New York Bretts. So, I mean, part of it, I believe, is cyclical, and he's never gotten a chance from some people, even all the way back to 08.
That's a fair point.
Some people.
There were some that
and some have come around, but some have then also went, oh, see, this is why I didn't like him at the beginning.
I also do think, though, that, and this is where it's fun, I do think there are some that probably didn't like him, and then when everything happened in 2020, they're like, it's my guy, right?
My guy. Yeah. That is so true, Billy.
Take that, Aaron. You don't take that thing.
So and
no pause,
and you know, so
caught myself.
People feel a certain way about Aaron passionately, one way or the other, and that's always going to be the case. That's like the LeBron part of that, right, Billy?
You have your opinion on Aaron Rodgers, and nothing he's doing at the age of 41 is going to really change that much.
Yeah, but there are plenty that don't. I mean, you talk about Packer fans. You talk about a guy that gave you 4 MVPs, a Super Bowl title, thousands and thousands of yards of production, touchdowns. Great wins all the time, winning a lot of games. That's still we're like, I can't stand that guy.
Introduced you to Olivia Munn.
Sure.
I know that there were a lot of people that were watching her movies until
didn't know Olivia. Yeah.
Maybe became more of a NASCAR fan for the year that Danica was still racing when they were
together.
That
was quite a year.
You're a fan of watching her come in like 25th place.
Yeah.
877-794-1973. Not very good.
Okay.
Not very good. 877-794-1973.
Didn't matter.
More of this reaction on the NickLayLaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. A lot of people backing up Armin, standing up on the gates. Gatekeep a little bit of fandom here on the game, no doubt about it. It's 877-794-1973, streaming live on YouTube and X. It's No BS on the game.
to sing my songs and then become a bad piano playing man. So here I am.
Classic Cuts.
A lot of rockers have fond memories of recording their hits, but Rod Argent has a different recollection of cutting his namesake band's Hold Your Head Up. The keyboardist says he could barely hold his own head up during the sessions at Abbey Road.
We recorded Hold Your Head Up and Keep On Rolling on that particular weekend. And I really wasn't well. I got some food poisoning. And my girlfriend at the time, she'd gone away for the weekend. So I was staying in the house by myself, feeling terrible. And I was turning up at Abbey Road for the sessions each day to record this thing. Feeling absolutely awful. So that's what I remember about the session.
Hold your head up. 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 Hold your head up.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Steely Dan songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Hey 19.
She thinks I'm crazy, but I'm just growing old. Hey, 19. Now we got nothing in common. We can't dance again. We can't talk at all.
Number 2, Do It Again.
Here you go back, Jack, do it again. We'll turn it round and round. You go back, Jack, do it again.
Number 1, Reeling in the Years.
Are you reeling in the years? Stowing away the time? Are you gathering up the tears? Have you had enough of mine?
Hear more from Steely Dan and similar artists now. Search for Steely Dan on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1970.
25, 4, 6, 2, 4.
Chicago breaks through with their second album, generating 3 top 10 singles: Color My World, 25 or 624, and Make Me Smile. And Simon and Garfunkel released the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. It would win the Grammy for Album of the Year. The single of the same name would also hit number 1.
Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
In February of 1970, Paul McCartney files a petition with the court to dissolve the Beatles partnership. James Taylor leaves Apple Records and releases the album Sweet Baby James on Warner Brothers. He has a number 3 single with Fire and Rain and receives major publicity as a leader in the wave of new, more mellow singer-songwriters of the time.
Let it roll all night long.
The Doors get back to the blues with the album Morrison Hotel, which climbs to number 4 on the album charts. In March, Crosby, Stills, and Nash add Neil Young to their lineup and have a number 1 album with Deja Vu, which includes 3 top 40 singles. And New York hard rockers Mountain released their debut Climbing with the single Mississippi Queen.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound, score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Aretha Franklin songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Number 2, Freeway of Love. Number 1, respect.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, take out TCB.
Hear more from Aretha Franklin and similar artists now. Search for Aretha Franklin on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Hanging out on the talking text line with a ton of Packer backers and a couple of Aaron Rodgers supporters. It's no BS on the game. 877-794-1973. Ryan in Muskego said, Armin, I agree with you. If that kid's not going to cheer for the Packers this weekend for an aging 41-year-old quarterback, then he's not a Packers fan. He sounds like a guy who's still wearing a mask inside.
See, we didn't have to go there. You know what I'm saying? I know
Wouldn't
that's
that
what it
be
is.
the opposite?
Ugh.
If he's cheering for Aaron, wouldn't he be the guy burning a mask?
Right. That's a good point.
Sorry.
Again, we didn't have to go there, and I really didn't want to, but it is what it is.
Where
when
it's
you talk about
darker.
Aaron.
You just want to go in there, yeah.
It's fun.
Let's not. Okay, yeah.
Too late,
You know
right
what?
there.
Yeah, you're fine. It's fine. Who cares? I agree with that. I just don't get the whole. It's hard for me to understand that as staunch of a tribalistic fan as I am of my teams.
You are
right?
tribal.
I
It's
like
just
that one,
so
yes.
hard for me to say I'm going a different direction. Like it's almost like, to me, it's an involuntary choice. I can't make that choice. Like some people look at it as like, well, I'm going to cheer for this team. I'm going to flip the switch today.
But you wouldn't like to.
Well, in terms of what? Explain it to me.
You said like you can't turn that off. I don't think you would want
No,
to.
I would.
That off.
No, I'm happy being the way I am. I wouldn't want to be, but like my point is, even if I tried to convince myself that I was going to do that, deep down, I'm not really cheering for that other team.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean, so that's kind of what I mean. It's involuntary for me, and that's kind of how I knew I was always different.
Our friend Red Hot Tim Knott said so many shifty fans. When Manning left to
Shifty.
go to Denver, there was no way I was cheering for the Denver Broncos. I was ride or die with his team, and he's a Colts fan, and understandably so. I do, though, remember a Sunday night football game when Peyton Manning showed up, where that place was as gentle to an opponent as I think I've ever heard it.
Yeah,
as they celebrated the absolute hell out of it. But rightfully so. I mean, Peyton Manning was the guy. And this is the interesting one from Dave in Fox Point. And he's right. I think the part of the difference between 4 and 12 was that 4 helped bring the Packers out of mediocrity. 12 sustained the greatness that 4 brought. That's also the emotional attachment to.
Yes.
Brett more than Aaron. I think we always go to the personal side, and I think a lot more of it is the personal feeling of
the timing,
levelness.
The timing of it, you mean, or
like the thought that Brett would come and hang out with you at the cookout.
Oh yeah, he was more relatable. That's
hanging
why
out at the Traeger while we're making ribs.
But was he?
And crawfish than Aaron would be.
Good question. Was
I
that
don't
was
know.
that more of a?
And is that the stuff that we
Performative?
saw? Were those part of the onion layers that we saw come off in 2000 or start to come off in 2008? Where then you built the
Sure.
other side of the fandom where you're like, man, I can't stand this guy.
Yeah, there was always. That's a good question. Was it more performative? Because there was always that notion that Brett was more down to earth,
Oh,
more
for
relatable,
sure.
more authentic, more love.
To this
the
day,
game.
it's still like that. too.
Yeah, and that's what 715 said. Aaron was smarter than Brett as a quarterback, but Brett was more relatable to Packer fans.
Yes.
More like us. Yeah, and I think I think if you start really watching both players, you see what Aaron could do that Brett didn't. You see them like Brett made plenty of mistakes as a Packer quarterback. Brett had plenty of bad interceptions. Now, yes, granted, it was a totally different time in the league, so you have to judge it differently. But the leash that Jordan Love doesn't get from fans right now, if they throws one pick every 3 weeks about can you trust him, you wouldn't. I mean, it's not even close how much you wouldn't even get that from Brett. I mean, but Packer fans would not say that about Brett because they just feel a certain way about him, and they want to give him more benefit of the doubt because of the way they feel about him as a dude, right?
Yes,
or
100%.
relatable and things like that.
100%.
So there's no question about that. I also think part of it is, like you said, Billy, he came first. So if you come first, you pull the team out of
Always
it.
forget your first time. Always remember your first time.
Right. And he's so cherished because we were losing as a franchise for so long. I always said to myself, if Aaron came before Brett, how would people have looked at both? Like what Aaron had all the greatness Brett did, and then Brett came with his talent, but also making some mistakes.
But I mean, also Brett's dad was on the network post-game show
every time.
Like, I mean, that is something that's never happening again. Yeah. Oh,
I knew Irv was involved, but wow.
Irv was on the network post-game show for a long time. Like, I mean,
it was a different thing. It was a different
Yeah,
time.
I mean, they were as a part of it as you could be.
Sure.
That's never happening again. I think that also part of the personal connection that he
Watson's dad might be. I'm sure he'd love to be on the show. What about Tazim? Yeah, no, you're right,
Christian
Billy.
Watson's
It was
mom
different.
might be on Drew and KB later on this afternoon. Who knows? 877-794-1973. Diamond Dave said, that guy that wants to see Aaron Rodgers win another Super Bowl, talking about our friend Jeremy and Oshkosh. What if it's Pittsburgh against Green Bay? Then what?
Yeah, come on.
Well, that's a good question, Diamond Dave. I don't know what Jeremy would answer to that question.
I do.
What would he answer?
You can't tell me any Packer fan's not going to take his chance to see his team win a Lombardi trophy. Like, give me a break. Like, it's a good question because you put him to the test with that question, but it's not a great question in terms of what the choice should be. The choice should be obvious. It shouldn't even be a question.
That would be a good question, though, for our friend Joe in Pewaukee, who launched all of this, saying that he's got his Aaron Rodgers jersey ready to roll on Sunday. He's cheering for the Steelers on Sunday,
right?
For the Packers every other game. And he's also got an investment on them to win the division. That makes some sense as to why you'd be locked in. Wayne in Nash Vegas. I will always love Aaron, but Sunday he's in another uniform, so he is the enemy. I always carry the G. Go Pack.
Oh, yeah,
go.
let's go. That's my kind
Chuck
of
in West Bend. Billy's kind of sounding like John Gruden and Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks and Miracle. I'm down to sound like John.
That's pretty good. If you can do a
I'm down
combination.
to sound like John Gruden.
Combination of both of those, we can work on another impression. Billy, you've been killing with the impressions lately.
John Gruden talking about nightmares? I'm talking about nightmares.
Nightmares.
I don't want people talking about dreams in here, all right? We're talking about nightmares, man. Washington comes into town, nightmare for him. Nightmare for Illinois. I would be interested in hearing some more John Gruden. Maybe we need more Gruden in the Badgers locker room.
How about that?
Maybe we need him firing everybody up again. Because he fired everybody up during camp.
It really did.
Yeah.
We could use it going into Oregon this week.
You saw that speech and you thought they were running through the wall.
I was ready.
Now they've hit the wall.
They've hit a very, very tough wall. That's for sure. 877-794-1973. Matt in Milwaukee. I hope Rodgers has a Favre game and throws 5 picks. 3 of them go for touchdowns.
What are we playing the game in St. Louis?
That's what I'm saying.
I'll never forget that one. 6 picks. And we were tied for a while that game. It was looking good for a second.
Who was the returner? Is it Alan Rossum at that point?
The Possum.
Yeah. They put him on Marshall Faulk for about a quarter and went, oh, wait, never mind. That's not going to work anyway.
Tough day. Tough. That was a tough one. Tough go around for that package.
Stephen Appleton talking about guys returning. We just saw Brad Marchand return last night in Boston. That was a very, very good tribute.
And they legit brought him to tears. You don't.
And
feel
I hope
often.
that's what we see tonight for Chris Middleton.
That's what Giannis wants. Giannis is like, make him cry. Doc said, I'm putting the pressure on our video crew. Can you imagine the pressure editing that video? Is this enough to make him cry? I hope it is.
I hope it is too.
They
I
showed
hope
the
reaction is awesome.
They showed the video of him visiting the hospitals back in the day. Oh my gosh!
I'd have to see what tickets are sitting like for tonight's game.
Yeah. She there?
Shouldn't be too. Oh, look at you, Letty. Okay, there we
You know
go.
what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Credentialed media member, but you know.
So you can't cheer then. Can't cheer.
Credentialed media member.
Getting that free meal.
I ain't hanging out with all you unwashed out there. Here, 877-794-1973. He's Andrew Ludwig. He's credentialed media tonight at the Bucks game. Armin Sarian's right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. We are just hanging out with you at 877-794-1973. Talking Packers, talking Bucks as they open up the season tonight. Some expectations might be higher than most here on the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In June of 78, Darkness on the Edge of Town is released. Bruce Springsteen's follow-up to his breakthrough album, Born to Run. The album charts at number 5.
In the darkness on the edge of town. In the darkness on the edge of town.
Boston-based band The Cars released their debut album. It goes to number 18. It features the singles Just What I Needed and My Best Friend's Girl.
She's my best friend's girl.
In July of 78, the Rolling Stones released Some Girls in the U.S. The album and the single Miss You both hit number 1. In August of 78, Boston released their sophomore album, Don't Look Back. The album goes to number 1 in the U.S., selling 4 million copies in its first month.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in 76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on there.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of 73, Alice Cooper has a #1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a #1 album and his first #1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a #1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to #1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you. The sun is a great spot.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album, Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
In the whistling screaming,
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley is found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his 5th album, The Stranger. It goes to #2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to #3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer Gus Dudgeon and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up, and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie Taupin, and he would give me a lyric. And I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant, and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic. And I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then, could I'd wake the band up, because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe we write 2, but mostly 1. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
WRNW Milwaukee, available everywhere with the iHeartRadio app. Now #1 for podcasting. 97.3 The Game, an iHeartRadio station.
45 seconds left in overtime. 10 on the shot clock. Middleton spinning and hits. Big bucket for Chris Middleton.
And then Middleton right here gets into the paint. Nifty footwork, fade away, tough shot contested.
Crowd rising to its feet. Middleton, 5 seconds left in overtime. Middleton with 2. Middleton, you bet! He got it with 0.5 to go. Chris Middleton.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road.
Just a few of the monumental moments from Chris Middleton as a Milwaukee Buck. He returns tonight as a member of the never feared Washington Wizards.
We haven't feared them since they were the Bullets.
Hmm?
We haven't been afraid of them since they were the Bullets.
And weren't really all that afraid of them, weren't they? The Bullets when the Bucks won in 4 in the 71 championship, or was that against Baltimore?
No, that was the Baltimore Bullets.
Yeah.
I think same franchise.
iteration. Yeah,
same franchise.
Thank you.
Baltimore Bullets, Washington Bullets. Now, Washington Bullets had a couple exciting young years for a while in the 90s because they had Weber and Juwan Howard, I think, and then they moved on. And Jim McElvain, local guy.
They had a pair of the Fab Five. Wow,
yeah.
interesting.
Unless I'm totally mistaken, and if I am, I'd be really disappointed in myself because I'm supposed to know 90s NBA.
You are supposed to know 90s NBA. That is on your resume.
If you call
and
Plumber,
your resume is fresh.
but you better know it. If you call Plumber and he doesn't know what pipes are,
we
got a problem.
We got a big issue. I do know that Chris Middleton coming in here with the Wizards last year played in 14 games after the trade midseason. Now it's an unceremonious move, right? I mean, nobody wants to go play for the Wizards. I'm sorry.
Well,
even when you get drafted
league,
to the Wizards as a rookie, nobody dreams right now of playing for the Wizards outside of maybe Derek Queen because he was from Maryland.
Yeah, if you want to be in
after hitting that shot in the NCAA tournament, he ended up going to New Orleans in a draft night trade. Chris Middleton, being a member of the Bucks for as long as he was, and for as many great years of 12 seasons that he put together in a Bucks uniform, going to be celebrated tonight. 3-time All-Star, rightfully so. Now there was immediate pushback when he got his first All-Star nod in 2018, 2019. They're like, well, they had to have another guy on there.
They had to have another Buck.
Had to have another Buck in there. Did it twice more in 2 different seasons and just showcased how good of a player he was for a number of different 20-point seasons. He's one of the all-time leaders in a ton of offensive categories, including all of the 3-point variety for the Milwaukee Bucks. He will be celebrated. You mentioned and said you think his jersey will be retired. It absolutely will be. By the Bucks. And tonight should be a great moment as the Bucks do tip off the 2025-2026, dare I say, potential championship season.
Come on now. We got to believe. We got to have some positivity
now,
in there, Billy.
Yesterday, as we like to do in the Schmidt household, we were watching some of the Pat McAfee show. He was trying to talk about the NBA. He was doing a good job battling through it.
He's got a bunch of boys there. One of them should know something.
Good, not great.
It's better than... Listen, it's better than Stephen A. talking baseball, right? Like,
okay.
I mean, there's different like wheelhouses of it. Right. And at least I think Pat tries. It wants to celebrate the good parts of it.
And he likes the Pacers, obviously.
Dude, they had the commissioner on for almost 40 minutes yesterday.
What can't you ask him in that?
Wow, that's
they had Adam Silver on for over a half an hour.
The Google Doc on that.
That's impressive.
That, with questions for the commissioner, the Google Doc they must have had going.
And as strange as Adam Silver appears, he's an interesting listen because he's thoughtful, but he's very deliberate with it. And like, he's kind of slow. You have to wait and keep track of where he's going with the answers, but he's very deliberate in what he is trying to say.
Right.
And hearing the way people are discussing the Bucks, they show up all the odds of the different teams that could win the title. There are 14 teams up on there, none of which were named the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
For the first time in a long time.
We're not top 14. Jeez. Okay.
Let alone top 4. Yeah. I mean, that's been the Bucks for a majority of the last decade since Giannis has taken that next step and become the MVP player that he is and has been in the NBA. So you just see, and at the Potawatomi Sportsbook right now, you can look down the list of different teams, and I think the Bucks appear right around 15th or 18th. In terms of odds, they're like 50-1 long shots to win the NBA championship.
Plus 5,000 right now.
And understandably so. They are a really, really unproven group and a very unproven commodity. But when they got the best player in the Eastern Conference that is still seemingly wide open. Definitely not as much of an open and shut case as I think the Western Conference is, with Oklahoma City kind of head and shoulders above everybody. Even though last night it was a tough game against the Rockets, who are pesky, I think Oklahoma City's clear head and shoulders above everybody. In the East, I don't see that, and I see a team that is, with him as motivated as he appears to be, and that's going to be a thing that whenever Giannis steps on the floor, we've only known him to be the highest level of competitor. If indeed any of the offseason stuff lingers into the regular season, maybe we see some ill effects of it, or the opposite, where we kind of have in prior years, where he takes that as great opportunity to fuel his fire,
motivation,
stoke that flame, and come out and dominate. And with the amount that he's going to be leaned upon, Armin, with the Gary Harris and Cole Anthony's and Ryan Rollins, Miles Turner, and as much as he was riding Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis in that open scrimmage, the audio that they were releasing there, he is the unquestioned captain, has been for a while, but it is maybe now more than ever imperative that he takes that over. And it seems like he's going to be relishing that role. And I think it could lend itself to a little better expectation, a little more positive results for this Bucks team than a lot of people are having right now, where they're only like a minus 230 to make the playoffs here in 2020,
which is surprising. And the elder statesman, Billy. I mean, you're talking about a guy now that's the elder statesman,
seasoned vet.
Brooks gone, all these guys are gone, and I think it's unusual for him to feel that. And he's kind of made that pretty clear, the way he's talked about how much he misses Brooke and Drew and Chris and all of his boys that he came up with and did great things with. However, I get the sense he might embrace that role more than he thinks, feel some motivation to it.
Yeah.
And if this Bucks team, it's very important what they do early in the year, Billy. If they show a lot of promise and they win some games and they're playing well and there's an excitement about this team, that's going to totally change the way I think Giannis is looking at this thing, right? And totally might, the excitement that might energize him and give him a chance to buy in more. And you're right, Billy, the odds are interesting. The East is wide open. The East is wide open, man. You cannot tell me the Bucks are the 8th favorite right now in the East. You can't tell me that they don't have the potential to be better than that. I mean,
absolutely.
Cleveland, New York, we get it. But there's a lot of teams like Orlando, Atlanta, even Detroit that I think people are banking on being better, but we just don't know if they can be yet. There's a wide 100%. Open, there's a chasm there, right? There's a wide open space there, I think, for something to emerge. And it might be this now veteran-led team with Giannis, who's still at the top of his game. And as long as he stays healthy, he's still a monster, a bunch of shooters. You did add Miles Turner. And as Giannis said, we are built to be dangerous. Whether or not they are is one thing, but they're built to be dangerous.
They're definitely going to be pesky, right? Like, I think that's the one thing, especially if he's on the team the entire season. If he's on the team the entire year, I hate that that's how we're cushioning the conversation.
I know, right? It's not just a health. It used to be just a health matter.
Yeah.
Now it's not.
It does feel a little bit more real now than it has in prior years. But again, if he's on the team for the entire season, I struggled to see them not being over 500, where their over-under right now is at like 43 wins. Like, I really struggled to see a team that Giannis is on playing an entire year not winning 45 games.
Yeah, you got to slam the over on that, don't you?
And if they win close to 50, again, Armin, I think he's going to get serious consideration for the MVP.
Assuming the numbers he'll put up, right?
Assuming the numbers he's going to put up. Assuming the assist totals that I think are going to go up and up this year as well. And it's an exciting year. There's one team that I think nobody is talking about that you are going to raise your eyebrow at, that I think also could throw a little wrench in this plan.
Come on now.
What about your boy Nick Nurse in the Philadelphia 76ers? I mean, you want to talk about if a team is healthy.
Yeah,
they have the second best player in the Eastern Conference when everyone is healthy.
Well,
sure. Joel Embiid.
But he's the biggest. That's like the biggest question mark of all. Like,
it might be the biggest health question in North American sports.
That's like saying,
not to be hyperbolic.
No,
that's like saying I'm not a car guy. Somebody pick a car. That's like
Ford
saying
Fusion.
This 57 Chevy's the best car in the world when it runs. Well, but you get my point though.
You said pick a car. I want something current.
It's not your fault. It's my fault. I don't know. I shouldn't be on this radio making car metaphors. I don't know.
Let me discuss the first thing that's
That's a hell of a. That's a
I
great.
don't think I'm ever
answer.
going to drive a Ford Fusion, but first thing that popped in my head.
It's not your fault, Letty. It's mine. I shouldn't be on here trying to make car metaphors.
No, I like that you're trying to expand your horizons.
How about this?
I'm in with that. Let's keep doing that.
One of the best things is the McDonald's shake machine when the shake machine's working. How about that?
Yes, the ice cream machine's always broke.
The machine's always broke. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Dominant player and all this stuff, talented. And they have Tyrese Maxey, right? They still have Maxey, right? So they have players.
And Paul George.
Yeah, that Paul George.
Playoff P.
Oh, my goodness. Are we done with that? Like, Paul George, really? We're still, like, banking our...
I don't know. I think he's a good third option. Like, again, I knew you were going to push back on this one. I knew you were going to push back on this one.
Because you're not wrong on paper. They could be dangerous. I mean, if all the things work the way they should.
Again, like, as I say, health needed. Paul George is going to start the year out. But again, if somehow they get healthy, they could be pesky.
Yeah,
like in a 7-game series, I think that's a tough team.
Sure.
That's I think the biggest point about this is. Like, sure, New York is a great team right now on paper. I don't know how they if they continue to get better as of last year. I think Mikal Bridges showed a whole lot of holes in his game, and I don't know that improves. I don't know that you see Karl Anthony Towns have as good of a year as he did last year as well. And maybe Jalen Brunson hits a ceiling at some particular point because seemingly he just keeps getting better.
Also, we don't know what Mike Brown's going to be as a coach there, right?
That's a great one. And also for Cleveland, who right now is the favorite, you got to show me. You got to show me in the playoffs that you can actually do it, because I would have picked a bunch of different teams to upset them last year. Not only the Indiana Pacers, who sure they were dinged up, they were hurt. I mean, they escorted them out cleanly, quickly. So I just like it seems to be open. It seems to be up for the taking. And I'm not ready to completely say that the Bucks are not going to have something to say about this Eastern Conference at the end of the day.
Yeah, because let's put it this way. There's at least no more Bowser in the East.
That's for sure.
Like
yes.
the Celtics were the Bowser and all that stuff. And who knows what the Celtics plan is now. I mean, they're kind of like, we got to get money, apron, all that stuff. So they're still in the mix for playoffs, obviously, and they can be dangerous. But they're no longer the Bowser we thought. Your boy Paolo might take the next step with Orlando. Remains to be seen. The Hawks, I don't know. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions in the East. And I think this is a good year, if you're the Bucks, to have a lot of questions in the East. Because you kind of want the opportunity for it to be more wide open and have a potential that if you do get things together, okay, then now you're a legitimate threat. So, obviously, there's a lot of questions. Will the Kevin Porter thing work out? But it will be an interesting season for sure, Billy. And I think that the first couple months are going to be important because of these Giannis things we're hearing, and then what might be happening with him. So,
also thought the statement from Giannis was in, because everything is going to be interesting that you hear from Giannis now, but the statement of he might want to play some of his final years in Greece or in Europe, like at age 35, 36.
I believe that's possible.
I totally believe that's possible.
His family's already there.
I also think that there's a big part of it that there's a big money-making opportunity here with the development of NBA Europe. That if there's going to be somebody that's going to be at the forefront of it,
him.
I don't think Luka Doncic is running back overseas.
No.
I don't like, even
Luka
though Nikola
likes American music.
Even though Nikola Jokic can't wait to get back over there.
Yeah.
I think he really enjoys the checks that come over here in America. And that's one of the things that Silver mentioned yesterday when he was on with McAfee. He's like, yeah, that's going to be a start. It's going to be a developmental league. But the money is still not going to be $70 million potentially for a contract. So I think they'll get here while the getting's good and then get out overseas and enjoy a couple of years over there. And I do assume that he plays over there. I do also assume that there's more basketball leagues that try to threaten, because the popularity of the sport is way higher internationally
globally
than it is over here.
And those leagues do exist, obviously, overseas. They always have. And it's a phenomenon overseas, and it's always been. The question is, what makes it more valuable?
NBA Europe possibility, you think?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, if they get the right money from the right investors,
We had a question on the talk and text line if the Brewers should become the Live Brewers and taking some money from
I love how
private
all it
investment
takes
fund.
is one playoff loss to a richer team that, like, everyone willing to sell their soul to anybody for money to get a better player. Like, let's just do it. Let's just get all the Saudi money in here now. We got to pay for these guys. So we'll do anything it takes.
Could you imagine? Now, Armin, that would be a different gatekeeping you'd have to do fan-wise.
Yeah, I guess so. It would
Because
be.
there would be a lot of people questioning what your thoughts are. You say, hey, this is my favorite Milwaukee Brewers. Hell or high water, we get a World Series championship. I'm going to be celebrating down Wisconsin Avenue. I would assume. I don't want to speak.
The problem with that really is what profit focused investor comes from the outside to Milwaukee and says, "Oh, I want to keep the team here."
Well, that's fair.
They're all going to say I can make more money anywhere else. So
I don't know. We pack this stadium up. We make sure the roof doesn't leak.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're selling tacos. We're selling all these things. We're selling brats. We're selling
pocket pancakes.
Playoff
merch.
I know it'd be great to win a World Series, but there's something to be said for not losing the the substance, the core of what makes the Brewers, right? That's local love and all that, and
I like that. Not ready to sell your soul. So there are levels to this. I'm interested. I'm interested to see if there will for some Brewers.
I know a lot of Brewers fans say, "Oh, let's just try and outspend
whatever we can."
Yeah, these cheap owners. Oh, let's outspend the Dodgers. I don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't know that any corporation comes in and can outspend the Dodgers because no baseball team is doing it.
Unless Bezos owns this team.
Bezos.
Right? Bezos, whatever.
Well, or his ex-wife, because she got a huge
She's got some. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Why don't you meet up with her, Joe Cast?
Whatever it takes.
You see everybody else. I
might take her to JMO's.
DM her.
More intimate.
JMO's, yes.
Class it up and at least take her to 5:00 Steakhouse, 877-799-1973, or Carson's.
Another great
Wayne
spot.
Larraby's
We've got
favorite
a lot
spot.
of great spots in
Carnivore.
Milwaukee.
I
Great
don't
spot.
know Letty's
I've
taking
never
her
been to Carnivore.
I don't know Letty's taking her to Carnivore on the radio budget. 877-794-1973. It's no BS on the game.
Quick to crank up on her. You better not get me started. Locked in with the gangsters and players. My folks gon' keep it solid. Everything I got on new, it look like I got rings.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pregame on Friday at 8:30. Face off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single, Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, back with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
In June of 77, Ram Jam have a top 20 U.S. hit single with a cover of Lead Belly's song Black Betty. Chicago area rock band Styx have a U.S. top 10 album, Grand Illusion, including the top 10 single Come Sail Away.
Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
In July of 77, the Grateful Dead veered towards progressive rock, adding strings, horn, and a choir on their ninth studio album, Terrapin Station.
And the whistle is screaming, Terrapin.
In August of 77, the King dies. Elvis Presley's found dead in his home in Memphis, Tennessee at the age of 42. Detroit rock vocalist Iggy Pop releases his second solo album, Lust for Life. It's his second collaboration with David Bowie. New York's Billy Joel releases his fifth album, The Stranger. It goes to number 2 in the U.S., with the single Just the Way You Are rising to number 3.
I want you just the way you are.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1972.
He was singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove a Chevy to the levee like the levee was dry. And good old boys drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die.
1972, Don McLean goes to number 1 with the single and album American Pie. Paul Simon's solo debut gives him a top 10 hit, Mother and Child Reunion. Fast forward to March, where Neil Young has a number 1 album and a number 1 single with Heart of Gold. And Deep Purple released their quintessential album Machine Head, which goes to number 1 in the UK, number 7 in the US, and features the classic hit Smoke on the Water. Also in March, the band America releases their debut album that goes to number 1 and yields a number 1 single with Horse with No Name.
See, I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1972. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Peter Gabriel to discuss why it's been beneficial for him to follow his own path.
If you went for the things that you believed in, you'd probably be with people that you enjoyed the company of, and it would be an interesting journey. So I think I've sort of followed that as much as I could, and now I think I have a life which is part music, part technology, and part benefit projects, and I meet all sorts of amazing people from very different backgrounds, and some of these projects come to fruition, so it's very satisfying.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Peter Gabriel and all your favorite artists.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you. Our friend Andrew Ludwig on the other side of the glass. 877-794-1973. The NicolaLaw.com talk and text line. That's where our friend Nick said the image of 3 Bucks players helping the 4th up off the floor in the finals needs to be a statue outside of Fiserv Forum. I do imagine there's going to be 1 to 2 statues from that title year. One might just be Giannis. I believe Giannis is the one they're picking up off the floor there with Chris and Drew and Brooke, if I'm not mistaken, the image that he's discussing.
I think so.
I think that's the one.
Yeah.
I think Giannis is going to have his own.
I think he should.
Yeah.
I don't think the only statue of Giannis should be the one on his keister. Not that it's a bad look. I mean, it's a great image. That's a great image. That was what we were all about. That group, that team, that unit, that brotherhood. You know how I feel about this, Billy. It's time for some more statues downtown.
That's fair.
It's time for some more statues in Deer District.
Now that we
have
found
a place,
somebody, yeah,
we got a place for it.
We have a place for it. We found somebody to take over Punch Bowl Social. Right now, that's back in business. They found somebody to take over the Mecca because that wasn't working. Tom's, I believe, is
Tom's
the name
Watch
of it.
Bar.
Tom's Watch Bar.
That's
Yes,
at New
good
York,
call.
New York, and Vegas too. Tom's Watch Bar. They had like a pickled chicken. I liked it.
Oh,
I had it before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your boys got recommendations.
Wait, say that again?
Tom's Watch Bar. They had I think they had like a pickled chicken on the menu.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You okay?
I mean, I'm all about the pickles.
That's a great callback.
Thank you. I appreciate
Armin does generally grab the most eye-popping thing on the menu.
I try to
when he goes to a restaurant.
I know what you're going to refer to, the big fish that I ordered in New Orleans. I
Well,
got the
thank you.
fish.
I actually wasn't at that dinner, but
Well, you
What
could have
happened?
been.
Oh.
I'm sorry, you could have been.
You're at
I
MGM?
mean, no, it's like you weren't invited.
yeah, no doubt. Caesars, I believe was the
excuse
name
me,
of the
yeah.
place. But no, I was hanging out with my old roommate lives down there, old
Which is-
college roommate. So I was hanging out with those with my boy.
Which was cool.
No
Not-
doubt.
yeah.
But I was actually going to refer to Luddy because Armin gets brought up when people ask like who you're doing the show with now, because that's a
yeah.
very frequent question. right
Frequent
now.
question.
Are you guys doing a show? Where are you doing a show? How can I listen to the show?
Was it
Who
with
are
that
you doing the show
Armenian
with?
guy? Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah, it's that guy that ordered the largest chicken and waffles dish of all time at the wedding out in Las Vegas.
Yeah, when we went to breakfast with your family, your friends, it was a great morning. Right
Great
before your
morning. We
wedding.
went to the hash house in the Link.
The Link. Now, I'll be
a food place?
I'll be honest with you.
Just a food place,
That
yes.
is actually,
Yep.
great breakfast spot. They had the big old chicken and waffles. And I'll be honest with you, Billy.
I mean, a tower chicken and waffles.
Big
Letty.
old boy. Yeah, they had like a big knife in the middle because you had to cut the chicken and the waffles up.
Like you're talking dang near 12 inches of chicken.
Diners,
No pause.
drive-ins, and dives type stuff.
Now-
Amen to that.
And,
yes.
you're talking about me, right? Like, I'm not necessarily just trying to like, I'm not in
You're
the
all
like,
of 5'11", right?
It's not. I'm not the guy you'd pick for the eating challenges. Let's put it that way. You
Far
know?
from it. Yes, correct.
And if I was eating alone or with one other person, would I be ordering that? If I'm honest with myself, I'm probably not. So there might have been a little show off factor. You know, there might have been a little bit of a show off factor involved in there.
Meeting some new people, wanted to show that you're about it. You're cool.
It was
Big
good,
voice,
though.
big stomach.
It was good though. So I think Billy was happy that I did go and order that thing.
I was as fired up as I ever have been when I saw Armin, and I'm trying to find the picture somewhere.
It was quite a
In the midst of a Vegas wedding picture on your phone, your Vegas wedding pictures on your phone, you're trying to find that?
Well, it
Good
was
luck.
Yeah,
Billy's
that's the
wedding.
thing.
It was
know
Billy's
there's a
wedding.
lot in here.
I'm gonna tell you
Somewhere
though,
on here. Somebody's
it-
going to get us the picture. Of
It
that
was
one.
a spectacle to be seen when they brought that
Imagine.
thing over.
Did you know going into it? Was there a visual
No.
image, or did the waitress go or waiter go, dude, they just so you know?
What I remember is it was like a specialty of the house. There was a special. There it is.
If you can see on the YouTube,
Oh
and
my
extra,
God.
Oh my.
Yeah, they put like a big old.
full video of Armin
a
getting
plant.
the plate walked over.
It wasn't even a garnish. It was like a pine cone plant. They put like a tree in there, and I don't even know what was
Well,
going
you
on.
got your
there.
admiral's beard going on. too.
Oh yeah, he's got the playoff beard going
playoff
on.
beard. It was a spectacle.
Just
to
an
be seen.
absolutely massive dish.
It was
that
really
our man-
good. Really good. Couldn't finish it, but it was really good. You
So
know?
you do like to grab attention. You do like to
Yeah,
at
that's what
some point.
That's what I think of when I see Armin.
At some point, you want to be a star of the show, which is a good thing. I think that we do need more statues to show that we have stars here in Milwaukee, and then to show off our
Statues.
Bucks outside of Fiserv Forum. I'm with you on that one.
Kareem should get a statue.
Absolutely should.
Don't you think he should be on there
Amen.
somewhere?
Amen. Yes.
So we're gonna start kind of establishing. They have I think Philadelphia has a bunch of statues in like Statue Park of all their great players for the Sixers. We should start doing that here. I mean, I did bring up the idea of MVP Park, Billy, if you remember downtown.
You did,
With statues
yes.
of all the MVPs. So I think more statues is a good thing. And Giannis is obviously gonna get one if there are statues to be had.
Mhm.
And Kareem should be in there too. So yeah, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Also, of the statues that need to go up in the state, Mark Johnson's on UW's campus needs to be
Talked about that one. Mark
erected
Johnson's.
very much now.
Very soon. Get that statue up. There's plenty of other ones we could go to, but I mean, yeah, that's a must.
Nick
That's a must.
in Saukville, UPS Nick in Saukville said, watching you boys on YouTube instead of the iHeart app, and it is outstanding. Nice to see you boys while also listening to you, Nick in Sauk Prairie. Love being able to interact.
Now Nick can watch me pick up the phone here.
Now he can watch you pick up the phone and see the magic of radio hanging out with our guy, Luddy, over on the other side. We have this one in from Troy in the 262 that I've been waiting to get back to on the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre back and forth as the Packers will take on Aaron Rodgers this weekend. Guys, I'm 57 years old, so I lived through 20 plus years of the Packers sucking. Brett Favre saved the franchise, and I am forever grateful. Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in Green Bay Packers history. Jordan Love is his own man and holding his own. And while I always love and respect Aaron Rodgers, I want us to beat his ass this weekend. He can do good the rest of the year till they lose in the Super Bowl. Go Pack, go Troy in 262.
See, I think he's right about a lot of that. I think he's kind of right on. I think that's kind of how we all look at it. Brett Favre, saved. Yeah, I mean, he was obviously the guy that did that and changed everything and changed the whole, direction of the franchise. Aaron Rodgers had an amazing career, and Jordan Love is on that way, hopefully. So
I do like
the way you
that.
put it.
I also like that it's put by Troy that he's his own dude, because everybody wants to say, well, is he more Aaron Rodgers or is he more Brett Favre? He also might be more, I don't know, Troy Aikman, right? Might be more Dan Marino, or he might be more of like a Justin Herbert. You can also just be your own dude, and he's got a different play style than a lot of different quarterbacks that we've seen, right? He's showing off a little bit more of the elusiveness that both Favre and Aaron had at a younger time in their career. But he's more physically imposing than both of those guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah,
Jordan's a
that's a great
legit
point.
He's got 2
6'5".
inches on each of them.
He's a
Yeah.
legit
No
6'5"
doubt.
and almost 230 pounds.
You know what?
He's a big son of a gun.
And he's doing something this year, interestingly. I mean, you notice it. He was hurt last year, but he's using his legs more now, which has become a huge extra part of his game that people were kind of waiting for, I think. And obviously he was hurt last year, but he's trucking guys. I mean, he's a big old boy. He's not always sliding, and to your disdain sometimes. So,
yes.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I
about
really
that.
liked the quick slide that we saw this weekend.
Yes.
We got close enough. Tuck it under and go. There's a little baseball player in Jordan.
Yes.
Get back to it. We used to, Armin, I don't know if this was a youth deal for you guys, that you practice sliding on the paper bag.
No.
Rip that thing out, practice on the paper bag, slide right on down it.
That's a good idea. I don't think we did that.
It'll help. It'll help. And maybe we just do that with Jordan. But I like being able to get as far up there, as many yards as possible, and then tuck it under as quickly as possible. Oily Phil in McGuanago. Not sure why it's oily, but we appreciate it, Phil.
Oily
What
Phil?
happened to Phil?
I love that.
He's a little oily today. Wednesday.
Phil, oil it up. All right, Phil, why
Oiling
not?
up on a Wednesday, our friend
Go.
Phil in McGuanago said, what if Micah Parsons ends Aaron Rodgers' career on Sunday night? In parentheses, I hope not. I do appreciate that he
Kind of like
clarifies that
Favre
one.
laying on the.
He said, will Packer Rodgers backers then hate Micah Parsons? I hope Aaron doesn't beat us on a Hail Mary is also thrown in there. I do like that question.
no kidding.
I mean, that's a good point. I don't want him to. Yeah, I don't want Aaron to get hurt, but it's very possible at his age. Also, it depends how it happens. If it's a Charles Martin type hit, then yeah, a dirty hit after the play, one of those things. You know, what was our boy and what was the guy in the Vikings that did it to Aaron?
Anthony Barr.
Anthony Barr, who kind of it wasn't necessarily clean, but it wasn't super dirty. But it was also the Vikings celebrated that for a while.
And I'm gonna misremember my my man's name with the Bears that ultimately did it to Favre on the Monday night game in
Shane.
Not when he broke Rodgers' collarbone. I'm talking about when they ended Favre's career up in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It was on a Monday night. It was late into the year, and that one wasn't necessarily dirty by the player, but it was. Now probably would be called roughing the passer because I think he just landed his body weight on him. But again, I
Corey Wooten.
Yes.
You know, I only
Good
thought about
pull.
that because I always associate him with Colby Wooden.
Yeah, right.
Colby Wooden, Corey Wooten.
That's
Yes.
the only reason I got that.
So hopefully that's not what Colby Wooden does this
No,
weekend.
we don't
Nobody
want
wants
anyone to
see
get
that.
hurt. We don't want anyone to
Even
get
though
hurt.
one of my former radio partners one time said about Brett Favre when he was returning, he said, I want to see him get hurt.
Oh boy.
And we used that drop of GE for a long time.
Interesting.
Oh, that's
It was
awesome.
a fun one.
That's one of those great soup pitch, great all time drops. You
Yes.
know?
Oh,
yeah,
God. It
I
got
remember
fired
hearing
up
that one.
so many different times.
Hey, I like all the ideas for statues coming in, by the way. Not to
Ooh,
get off
okay.
the topic.
Pogo from Clinton, Al McGuire.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
shocked that you like that one.
Well, there is an Al McGuire statue already in the Al McGuire Center. So
yeah, but we
But
don't
don't we
we
need
want it more
exterior ones?
displayed.
Yeah.
well, you know why
Or
it's
live
inside.
at night.
Would he get a statue in the park?
In MVP Park, probably. But he specifically joked when he was alive that he wanted a statue indoors so the pigeons couldn't poop on him. That's why it's inside.
Oh, that's
A lot
fair.
of
Okay.
people don't know about that.
I
That's
mean-
true. That's funny.
Listen,
Yeah.
if you can help and you can satisfy someone's well wishes on the way out,
Yeah.
you damn well do it. Our friend Lauren in the 262 said, hi, Lauren, good morning. Unpopular opinion. I'm in my late 20s and didn't get into football seriously until about 2020. Rodgers just seemed full of himself and egotistical. I was just never a fan. Love is my quarterback, 100%.
Yeah, that's not an unpopular opinion. That's a very popular opinion, I would say. Like a lot of people have said over the years exactly what you said.
But not the last part of Love is my quarterback. I'm excited to
I
see.
see.
I'm excited to see the generation that Lauren is kind of
That's it.
leading of the
Yeah.
fans that are like, listen, I don't care what happened in the past. We set a precedent of excellence at that position. And this is the guy that I'm attaching my wagon to. Maybe Lauren also knows the person that Jordan tried to pull out of the ditch. Also talk to
Point.
right? I mean,
Yeah. Point. There's
that's,
no-
a,
there's
that's
no
a way
storm.
that you endear yourself to the
Yeah.
fans. But also Aaron Nagler mentioned something to me that I think is very, very interesting, Armin. Ronica Stone might be, I should say Ronica Love, pardon me,
Yeah, his wife, yeah.
could also be adding into some of the fandom for a generation of fans, especially young ladies, because she is apparently very influential and very big on
It's a big factor. It's a big factor in this generation that we have
Yeah.
not seen in previous generations.
Because Nag
Obviously-
said his youngest daughter is right now she's on the diving board, getting into football, wants to
Right.
be a football fan, but there's two pools. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
So he's trying to steer her in a couple of different ways. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you'd be a fan of Josh Allen. He's awesome. He's cool.
Right.
But on this side, being able to have the misses of the sports couple of Wisconsin, the first couple of Wisconsin
First
sports,
couple
is pretty
absolutely.
important, I think.
And that's one thing Aaron never had was, I mean, he had girlfriends, obviously, and his personal life was always a matter of a lot of conjecture and attention, but he never had like the stability. People could always relate to that in this state, right? If you had, okay, he's married with his wife, and then we like his wife, we like what his family is. Like you said, the first couple, he's the most famous guy in the state, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. So people have this intense, innate desire to know and be curious about their personal life. We saw this with Brett. One reason people attached to Brett so much was the struggles they went through with Deanna's sickness and things like that. And all those things with Deanna and all these things was a big part of the allure of the familiarity of Brett Favre. And that could be a very important factor in that sense for this next generation in love if Veronica's big on social media, like the silly body thing. When they were doing some social media with the Packers' wives a couple years ago,
Fair, yeah.
and she said that
Edgerrin Cooper was apparently calling him that this weekend.
they got silly body. That was a big thing, and like Jordan became more kind of relatable or more. I don't know what the right word is, but we saw a different side of Jordan in that sense, and people love that around here. They love knowing about the family. They love appreciating that he's a regular family guy or whatever it is. And that's one thing Aaron really never had, right? He never got married. He always had these relationships. He didn't have the greatest relationship with his parents, obviously, famously.
Yeah.
And people could not stop being obsessed with that, right? That was a huge, huge factor in how they felt about him.
I also, as I'm doing some deep diving right now, there's some just like easy ways to cheer on the couple. Let's get some San Diego Mojo fans in here cheering on Major League Volleyball.
The volleyball, yeah, excuse me.
Come on now. I think that would be a good one. Listen, we like being able to follow Wisconsin Badgers women's volleyball. I don't know that pro volleyball is going to have the take that college volleyball does. I hope it does.
I always thought it would because it's one of those
thought it would.
One of these most popular growing sports amongst the youth and things like that. And
Within
people,
the next 10 to 15 years, I actually think volleyball has a chance to be the next sport that people are betting on.
yeah, that could be. I absolutely could see that, Billy. And you know how it is. If they're putting odds on it, people will bet on it.
100%. And you want to tell me that there's ways that I can be investing on each point with how many kills, how many digs? I don't even know what the stats necessarily are, but I'm interested in it. We're going to go to the Potawatomi Sportsbook coming up and fire in a parlay of the day at 877-794-1973. We can enjoy a lot more interaction on the talking text line. Ace in Waukesha said, I just got out of my cave. I had to gather my thoughts for a while. Aaron Rodgers still plays in the NFL. I bleed green and gold. Packers all the way, baby.
All right, Ace, and we appreciate you waiting until you were ready to give us that take. You know, he had to gather his thoughts.
877-794-1973 on YouTube and X, statewide on the game. Come and hang out with us on the YouTube stream. You can find it at 97.3 The Game's YouTube. 1070 The Game, the easiest way to follow and listen to the radio show if you're going to stream it on the iHeart Audio app or statewide. That flamethrower's all over the place. 1070 AM The Game in Madison. It's no BS statewide.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits #1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at #1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits number 19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to number 20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to number 13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, a lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number 1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a number 1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to number 5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
Can't get enough, enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one, this one.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974, coming up.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets, place your bets.
VSiN, every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to get a feel for when it all began for him musically.
I was about 10 years old. I was given a Spanish guitar for Christmas. And so, I wanted a drum kit, but I ended up getting a Spanish guitar. And I guess the things sort of just turned around from then.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Let's just keep on dancing.
877-794-1973. That's the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. That's how you get in on No BS with myself, Billy Schmidt, and Armin Sarian over there. I'm trying to decipher this text that we got in here.
Let's
from
try
our
to
friend
figure this
Kyle in MKE. Said, boys,
Yeah.
lads. Like that we throw a lads in there.
Lads, why not? And a ... lads.
Yes, the Ellipses is always a good one.
Ellipses.
Am I a
Yes.
lad? Am I a part of this?
You're a lad.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding
you're one
me?
of the lads.
Of course.
Kyle and MKE here. Out of the whole NFL calendar this year, this is the one match that I had circled from the beginning. However, I will be on a Royal Caribbean boat to Honduras,
Come on now.
Belize, and Mexico during this contest. I also like that we're calling it a contest.
And a
and
match.
I am hoping they will have it airing on the big screen. Otherwise, I'll be in a sports bar. Don't drink, but don't care.
Yeah.
Pack by at least 3 points. Let's go, Kyle and MKE.
Kyle,
Okay.
bon
Oh,
voyage.
Kyle, let's go.
Bon voyage on your cruise. I took one in my life. See, when you have the seasickness worries,
Sure.
it's
Yes.
not exactly like the thing you look forward to saying, oh, this is my vacation. But I know a lot of people love cruises. It's their preferred vacation of choice because, it's a little less expensive. You can go visit different things. You can-
All-inclusive deal to it,
all-inclusive. You
yeah.
can do it all the drink package and all that stuff. So enjoy
more.
your cruise. Kyle, I would assume they have it on in the ship. Some of these, Royal Caribbean, some of these cruise ships are crazy now. I mean, you see some of these cruise ships, what they do, all the stuff that's on the boat. all
Crazy as in like the JetBlue holiday memes, or are you talking like crazy as in like pimped out, awesome spot?
No, they're pimped
MTV
out.
Cribs version.
They are. I mean, you just don't want to like lose power and have the poop cruise.
Yes, you,
You know
do
about
not
the
want
poop
that one.
cruise?
You do not want that
Saw
one.
that on Netflix. I remembered that, man. That was just a wild time.
And you mentioned the detractors for the cruise. I'm going to go on a cruise at some particular point here pretty soon. 'cause
Nice.
My wife cannot drop more Disney cruise
Disney- the
brochures
Disney.
in front of me.
The Disney cruise
All
thing. I mean, and for someone that loves
I've
Disney.
seen every one of them.
Yeah.
All right. I've seen every package. I've seen all of the boats. I've heard now that they have Mickey ice cream bars that are now available whenever you want. Like
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten all the perks. I don't know that we've necessarily discussed the detractors of it. And the detractors of it for me is not as much at being at sea.
Okay.
The boy's not very buoyant. So we're out in water.
Well, I
that is a fear. However,
I don't think you're falling overboard.
if I'm off the boat, we have bigger issues.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, you're not going scuba diving.
It's
are you?
that I got a problem with tardiness
with having to be
on time.
on time.
At a specific point.
Really? Okay.
Especially when, something cool is happening. And I'm like, well, I'll get there. I'll be close enough.
So what are you worried about missing?
The
though?
fear for me is that I'm going to miss the boat when
No.
they dock the son of a
No,
gun.
no, you're not gonna miss
And
any
I'm going to be
boats.
that guy in that video that I keep seeing running up the pier, seeing the bridge just go all the way up, hand on head, being like, son of a gun, I missed my ship. My passport is there.
I don't think that's
What am I
happening.
going to do?
Didn't the movie Titanic kind of start like this too? He misses a ship, barely misses a ship, almost gets there, probably shouldn't have gone on
I'm
the
gonna be
ship.
honest with you, I
'cause
don't
in the end
remember
it
much
goes
of the
down
beginning of the
anyway.
movie.
Well, I don't know, Luddy,
Well,
but
it starts with the old lady talking, but yeah.
that's true. But the way the Titanic ended is what we're trying to avoid.
Yeah,
It's
that's
also
what
a
I'm
movie I
saying. So
can't-
maybe it's okay to maybe miss the ship.
Wow.
sometimes.
Also a movie I can't tell you I've watched all the way through.
Oh well, yeah. You
Love
kind of
scenes?
when Titanic first came out, everyone was watching it, right? 98, I think it was. So you had to watch Titanic. If you were anybody that was wanting to be anything back then in high school, you had to know.
Anybody wanting to be somebody had to be watching Titanic.
AKA talking to a girl.
Well,
You had,
okay,
you
that's
had,
fair.
you had to
Sure.
watch Titanic because it was so popular. Everybody loved Titanic, all these things. So, we want it to end differently, Billy. I think it will. I don't think that you're worried about that part of it.
Sorry to
Getting-
go like.
No, it's
drastic
okay.
there.
Hey,
I do like
listen,
that that's where you went.
You had to
Just
consider
as
all-
dark as possible.
consider all possibilities.
Listen, it could be better. It could
I've never been on one, so
ship
I don't know.
could sink and you could have missed it. That
Yeah,
is
I didn't-
absolutely a case.
Next time you fly, I'll bring up Air Force One. Anyway, yeah, great movie. No, honestly, Billy, I don't think you'd miss it because the way they set it up and the way they organize, I don't think you're gonna miss the boat. That's why Allie's there. Like, let's be honest.
Jonah and River Falls, they got a whole deck dedicated to a casino on most of these cruise
Oh,
ships.
yeah, they got big
correct.
casinos.
Not
Okay.
the Disney ones, as I found out. And that's apparently the one that I'm going on. So that's
They
the
don't?
issue. No.
That's a huge
You
miss.
think they're having a Mickey Mouse casino?
There's
Why
no
not?
ESPN bet going on.
Well, that's a
you,
good idea.
you could have
Maybe
one
we
for
could
the
have done that.
you can have one for the adults. They have bars, don't they? They have adult areas like Disney cruises.
I guess maybe they do. I hope they do.
Hey,
I
Billy,
have
why don't
I
you
have
just
been,
come down to the casino here? We'll
Yeah.
get some bets in, and next thing you know, you'll just be right back on your way up to your hotel room.
Mick, it's going to be a hot dog day. We're going to be a hot diggity dog if we're hitting one of those parlays
That's
on the
pretty
bottom
good.
on that cruise ship.
Then you could really go.
That was a pretty solid
that
Mickey.
was man.
That might be your best impression.
That
You've
was
busted out
that's
here
one hell
today.
of an impression.
Wow.
I don't know. Matt
Holy
Miller says
cow.
my stitch is pretty good. Ohana means family.
Oh, that is pretty solid. Okay. Again,
It's
onion
all
of Andrew
cartoon
Ludwig.
characters. You notice
He's
that?
got Disney characters on their repertoire.
You like new cartoon characters. Listen, no, you could really.
It's awesome.
The big miss there is you could legit be Scrooge McDuck with all the money, swimming in all your money.
Oh, that's fair. You definitely could be.
Once you hit the big one on but listen, it doesn't matter. I mean, unless it's Potawatomi Sportsbook on the seas, I don't want to go. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you ain't lying about that.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I did
We're going to take your money and you're never going to see it again.
Well, actually, we're trying to take their money. We're trying to take the Potawatomi Sportsbook's money. How about we do that right now, Andrew Ludwig? As we walk up to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, let's bet big, bet bold, and bet above the rest.
Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
Let's get after it. 877-794-1973. Want to know if you're heading to Fiserv Forum tonight for game 1 of 82. Bucks and Wizards. That's where the parlay of the day is emanating from. That's where it's starting, and that's where it's ending. Is 7 o'clock tip at Fiserv Forum. Bucks laying 10 at home against the Wizards. Giannis, that's a lot of points, right there. That's a lot of points, Armin. Sorry.
That is wood, but then again, it is the Wizards. So I think they can consider, all right, Wizards at home, Giannis. We're going to set up some wood here. 10 points. I saw it at 8.5, and then it's been moving. I think a lot of people were on that Bucks money.
Sliding a tick, no doubt about it.
Understandably so. Right.
And for the parlay of the day, bet big, bet bold, bet above the rest. We got a couple of old friends that always come up big for us here on the parlay of the day. And when Chris Middleton is going to be returning to Fiserv Forum as the all-time three-point shooter in Milwaukee Bucks history, 2+ threes for Chris Middleton tonight in the Wizards uniform.
Yeah, because you know he's going to be putting them up, right? He's going to get playing time.
He's going to try to fill it up, right? Chris Middleton is going in there to score. He ain't going to be passive, I would assume, here tonight. Let's go with 2 triples for Chris Middleton on the day. And also a fan favorite, somebody that fires up the crowd with a couple of his threes. And I would assume offensively going to be counted on maybe even a little bit more this year. Do we drop Bobby Portis into the 2 threes?
Bobby.
Or the
Bobby.
The newcomer Miles Turner coming in with a pair of triples at -165 or plus 125 for Bobby Portis.
You would assume Miles gets some more looks because they'll get more playing time. Don't you
He
think?
does. I would assume he's going to get a lot more playing time.
I would roll Miles there.
Miles Turner, 2+ threes. Now, if we make it 3 threes for Miles Turner, we're talking 10-1 opportunity. Instead, we're just going to go modest. We're going to go 2. A pair of triples from Chris Middleton, a pair from the newest Buck, Miles Turner, and the trusty old friend of Giannis, over 50+ points, rebounds, assists. His special is always a target market. And when it reaches up into the levels of like 55, 56, 57, then it's hard to hit. But Armin, at 50, -150, that's easy money, and that's a plus 550 parlay of the day at the Potawatomi Sportsbook that we're firing in here before game 1 of 82 for the Bucks at Fiserv Forum tonight.
Let's smack it. Let's get a win. Let's get a Bucks a win on that -435 money line tonight. Let's get the Bucks a win to start the year. Get the feelings right, because the Bucks' feelings in the offseason have not come correct necessarily. The vibes have not
they've
come
been a little
right.
downtrodden.
So let's get the vibes coming correct. Let's get some excitement. Let's watch Giannis dominate again, and let's remind ourselves that there's still a lot to be cheering for with the Milwaukee Bucks.
There's a lot to be cheering for.
Yeah.
There's a lot of excitement to be had and a lot of wins to be had for the Milwaukee Bucks tonight. Definitely should be one of them, laying 10 at home against the Washington Wizards. And I said earlier, never feared. Really not. I mean, even in the Bradley Beal, John Wall era, not feared by just about anybody. Tonight at Fiserv Forum, celebrate Chris Middleton, cheer on those 2 triples, and then a pair of threes from Miles Turner and Giannis with 50 points, rebounds, assists brings us home to the Potawatomi Sportsbook, where you bet big, bet bold, and bet above the rest with all of us on 1070 The Game and on No BS. He's Andrew Ludwig. Armin Sarian's right there. I'm Billy Schmidt. We're back after this. Hour number 4 continues through some football conversation, because the power rankings would indicate one thing about this matchup in Pittsburgh that we have not discussed. It's No BS on The Game.
It's gonna just feel so, it just feels so good.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1976.
Bob Dylan releases his album Desire. It goes to #1 in the States, thanks mainly to significant radio airplay for the single Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land where justice is a game.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with the number one single, Saturday Night. In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a number 2 U.S. album with Silk Debris. Peter Frampton hits number 1 with his double live album Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you to show me the way every day. I want you to show me the way night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album Jailbreak scores them a number 12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Demos.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Try to set the night on fire.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Try to set the night on fire.
In January of 1967, Los Angeles band The Doors released their debut album, which eventually goes to number 2, and features the single Light My Fire, which goes to number 1 in July. The Rolling Stones released Ruby Tuesday, an ode to a groupie written by Keith Richards. The song takes them to number 1 in the U.S. in March. And San Francisco band The Jefferson Airplane released the surrealistic Pillow album, scoring 2 top 10 hits with White Rabbit and Somebody to Love.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
In March of 67, Buffalo Springfield re-releases their debut album to include the hit single For What It's Worth. In April of 67, Give Me Some Lovin' by the Spencer Davis Group goes to number 7 in the U.S., with vocals by 17-year-old Steve Winwood. And in May, Elvis Presley marries his 21-year-old girlfriend Priscilla in Las Vegas. In May, Mitch Ryder hits number 4 with Devil with a Blue Dress, Good Golly Miss Molly. And the Jimi Hendrix Experience released their debut in the UK. In July, they toured the U.S. as the opening act for the Monkees in support of the U.S. album release.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967 coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And you know, I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, you know, the #1 rock star in the world, had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage, rather, they knew what I was going to do on stage. But off stage, they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee. 97.3 The Game.
No BS on the Game hits hour number 4, and we are going to be having a phenomenal hour 4 with you. 4's up, Armin.
4's up.
Come on, 4's up.
I need one hand over here, though.
Now you get to do that.
Pause.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, it is fun to do the 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you mean by now?
The naps are longer, I'll tell you that.
Sidelines.
Oh, like I wasn't playing football. I thought you meant I wasn't doing 4 hours of radio.
That's a football thing.
Yeah, it's a football thing. I know. I thought you meant I wasn't doing 4 hours of radio before. I was putting up 6s, bro.
I was going to say, you're putting up 6s.
How do you do that with
8s,
one hand?
10s.
That was the LeBron, not 2, not 3.
One hand.
Yeah, you can't do it with one hand. You got to put them all up.
Pause. When someone asked me how long the Packers broadcast lasts, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Play that for them?
That would be great. What I always really want is it's one thing to have drops in the radio. Obviously, great producers like Luddy. We always have drops ready.
We do.
I always wanted like a handheld device where I could have drops in my everyday life, like walking around playing drops like that.
Oh, I like
sound
that.
effects.
Just a
walking around.
soundboard hanging out with you.
Yeah,
Just
nobody's
to
gonna
add
notice
some
that.
flavor and some color to my normal conversations. Now, I understand, not like having theme music walking around.
Right.
Like you're in a movie, like having a band behind you play a little theme music when you walk down the street.
Or like I had maybe thought of releasing birds every time that I walked into a room.
I like that. That's good. But just to have a little machine that could give you a little sound effect,
Could you imagine Armin just wearing out that laugh track at
Laugh
every
track.
single dad joke you make?
Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Can someone come up with that for me, please? Just to have something like that.
Oh, create it yourself, dude.
I-
what are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
Pawning this off on somebody.
You
I mean,
don't wanna give
especially
that away to
today.
somebody
Like,
else.
I get your point. The idea's there. I just don't know how to put it together. I'm not an engineer. I don't know how to build stuff like that.
got books and
I'm
stuff.
not like what am I, Ben Franklin out here?
Could be.
What am I, Edison?
Yeah, I don't know. The Ben, our buddy Ben at 11:30 can help you out.
What am I, Thomas Edison out here? Come on.
No, he's off at 11.
Or Michael. Our boy Bove can help you out with that one.
Bove could definitely do it.
Engineer in the
I got
building.
the
he can build
update
that
here on
for you.
PC too.
Not good.
Not good.
Computer very, very sick.
There was smoke coming out of it.
Whoa!
Whatever that means.
Was that like an old dad joke?
Nope, that was a
grandpa
serious.
joke?
That was a serious. Smoke
So we
coming
got
out
a
of it.
smoking computer
Yeah.
with the grass or with the. Oh my God!
Why not?
That's dangerous in this building.
We got a new one
Years
on
been-
order. It'll be here in about 4 months, I think.
Okay, sweet. Well, we got 3 to go. I like that. I'm excited for it. Now,
This whole year's been crazy anyway.
it
Why
really
not?
has. It's been a strange one. I got a little announcement in the football world.
Breaking news?
I mean, it's not really that breaking of news. It's from NFL media. It's not all that fun.
Wow.
But that this year's Black Friday game featuring the Chicago Bears and the Philadelphia Eagles on NFL's Prime Video will broadcast worldwide. No subscription and no Prime membership required. Come on in and watch some football.
Yeah, your first bet's
And, you know,
free. Your
hey,
first
why don't you
taste is
scout
free.
it out? Why don't you see what we got over here on Amazon Prime? That's smart. I
Your
like
first
that.
taste is free. That's like going and getting the samples. Now, if you're tough enough and you're smart and focused enough like me to go into Costco, get the samples, get your free food, and walk out, then I give you some credit. If you're smart enough to get the $10 free play and just collect that $10 and walk out, I give you credit. But most of us, if we get that little free taste, we're going to say, oh, okay, I kind of liked having a
Rolling
game.
right back in there.
I got to see the next game I'm going to have to buy. So that's a smart move. by
This
them.
is like what Tim was explaining to us yesterday, which I did not know. There was a certain O'Shea's we were talking about in Vegas
Oh, yeah.
before it moved, which it used to be more on the strip, apparently.
Yeah.
Part of the
Which
Flamingo.
would have been even more fun.
Now it's more into built into the link into
Into
that
the
little promenade area.
Yep.
That they used to cash your check.
Yeah.
And would give you 10%.
That's old school, baby.
Would give you a little extra on
That's old
top,
school.
knowing that you were going to. I was like, wait, no, Tim, they take 10%. He goes, oh no,
They
gave
give
you
you
an
10%.
additional 10%.
Yeah,
Where
that's
in the
what-
world does that exist today?
I'll tell you where today. I don't know. I'll tell you where it used to do it is
Heaven.
Ziggy's on Marquette campus.
Oh,
Ziggy.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Ziggy
Not Zad's.
because you had Marquette. You know, when you're in college, you often have like student money, like Marquette Cash, right?
Sure.
You could put Marquette Cash in your account and you could use it to anything, and they give you 10%, right?
Would that be like your dining money? You could use it on
Sort
different
of.
things at the stores and things like that, or like a bookstore, or
Sort
only
of.
food.
Yeah, but it wasn't like your meal plan. It was like if you had Marquette Cash and certain businesses took Marquette Cash.
Got it.
You
That
know,
makes
so your
sense.
parents
Yep.
could put it on. It was like, it's not as applicable now because everyone's got credit cards. And
It's a
Apple
way for
Pay.
them to give you money, knowing that there's only certain things you can spend it on. Most likely not alcohol.
Yeah, like so you're
Got
buying
Makes
like, and the deal was
Smart parents putting Marquette Cash down. Yes.
But there was one guy on Market Campus. There was one independent merchant that would not let you do it, and that would not take Marquette Cash. He didn't enter in that deal with the
Not doing it,
university.
so quit asking.
He was Ziggy. Whoops, sorry, my chair here. What's going
Ziggy
on?
getting you excited over there.
All right, so my chair collapsed. All right, so
Is that a zig on your chair? Or are you just excited to tell the story?
All right, so Ziggy ran this like diner right on Market Campus. He's gone now. Eventually got bought out, retired, but he was like this old Greek guy. It was sort of like our own Soup Nazi, on Market Campus. And Ziggy had a long diatribe about it, and he had his own thing called Ziggy Cash. And he goes, "I'll give you Ziggy Cash. I'll give you 10%. Marquette takes 10% when you put in Marquette Cash. I'm giving you 10%. I do Ziggy Cash," and he had some other choice words about Marquette and Marquette Cash. Him and the university, he was like an old school guy. He didn't want to do anything he was a merchant on campus. He was independent. He didn't want to do anything that the campus like wanted him to do with the Marquette Cash and all this stuff.
I'll give you Ziggy Cash.
You would walk into that like. There might be some guys out there, if you went to Marquette or you were it was right on Wisconsin Avenue, Ziggy's Diner, where the leaders of tomorrow eat today. That was his slogan.
Phenomenal
He was
catchphrase,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh yeah, when he was
where tomorrow's leaders eat today.
Yeah. He was
Is that
literally-
trademarked?
He would get mad if you didn't order the right way, if you took too long, if you didn't order. He wanted
He wanted you to be a leader.
He's just like this.
It's awesome.
Episode of Seinfeld. He was hilarious. He was so legendary. Freeway would be there all the time. I mean, you could just when he expanded to the little place next door, the little stall next door on Wisconsin Ave.
Sure.
And that was when it was really popular.
Was it still as good?
It was still as good, but he's
A lot
like
of times you expand and you get a little big for your bridges.
he really bragged about his expansion. He had a big sign that said Chipotle, and then in the little it said style burritos because everyone thought there was a Chipotle because everyone was into Chipotle at the time, right? Like it was like that was like the new burrito thing, and it'd be like, boy, it would be great if there's a Chipotle on campus for Qdoba. And everyone thought there was a Chipotle opening, but it wasn't. It was his big ass sign that said Chipotle, and then little print style burritos. It was
This guy is
amazing.
awesome.
This guy is
I
awesome.
I have so many stories with him.
We need more businessmen like Ziggy.
More guy like Ziggy, and he went off once about and you knew he didn't take Marquette Cash. So you'd say something, hey, why don't you go ask Ziggy if he takes Marquette Cash to some unsuspecting kid? And he goes, Marquette Cash? And he would throw some swears in there.
Lose it.
He was like, I will never do Marquette Cash. He was not happy about it. He goes, they take 10%. I give you 10%. So that's a long way to answer your question, Billy. Like, who's giving 10% now?
Ziggy was.
Ziggy used to give 10%.
But Ziggy's gone.
We need more.
Ziggy is now gone and retired. I hope he's happy back in Greece or wherever he is. I think he moved back to Greece. My man, he was the best. Ziggy was the best. There's got to be someone out there
Doesn't
that
sound like it.
any Marquette alum that remembers Ziggy.
I don't know. He sounds A1 to me.
Did you-
He sounds like a person that we need
Sounds
more
like
of in this world.
Sounds like he yelled at a lot of kids, and some guys going, "Man, Ziggy,
Well,
are you
know
kidding
what?
me?"
Though, sorry, Letty. Let me just say this really quick.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to get yelled at every once
Yeah,
in a
you're
while.
probably not wrong.
Maybe we do need to know that at some particular point, people will raise their voice. And it doesn't mean that it's ill-intended.
No.
It doesn't mean that it's out of haste or anger or hate. It might just be out of passion
Be better.
and love and driving to be a little bit better. Thank you very much. Right? It doesn't always mean that it's a bad thing.
Right.
When somebody raises their voice, it just means it's passionate. Ziggy was passionate about the leaders of tomorrow eating at
today.
this establishment today.
Oh, it was so
And
funny.
realizing that you're not going to get robbed of 10%. 10% they're putting in there. Marquette's taking it when you throw it into
Oh, my
Marquette
gosh,
Cash.
that
You
was
give
so
me
funny.
the 10%.
I'll give you
We
10%.
need more of that in this world.
Did he ever
More
go? You don't even know where your
Passion.
10%'s going.
Love.
It's just going away.
He used to rip on whatever you ordered. He used to ask you what you want to drink. I know what you kids want, college kids. You want Coca-Cola. All you want Coca-Cola. That's why you have arthritis in 30 years.
Dang,
So
calling
funny.
you out.
Oh, it's so
God,
funny.
This guy is the best.
He used to have every piece of neon sign you could have on the window, like as like a menu. Like it would say, like, pizza, burgers, things. And one of them said Boston pizza. I'm like, what is a Boston pizza? I'm like, there's no way he makes all this stuff. I walked in there and I was like, can I have a Boston pizza? It's on your thing. No Boston pizza. No, that's individual pizza. You don't want that. You don't want Boston pizza. I'll make you hamburger, no cheese. That's the healthiest thing you can eat. Hamburger, no cheese. Okay, that's it. $10, whatever it was.
That's what I'm talking about.
You went and ordered a slice of pizza and you got a cheeseburger?
No, this guy, he would just make his own rules. He made his own rules. He made his own decisions. He was hilarious. So Ziggy forever, man.
Text reads, while everyone zagged, Ziggy zigged.
Man, I bet there's not enough people that probably know or went to Ziggy's, man, was the spot.
Well, listen, they're tomorrow's leaders eating today,
man.
They're tomorrow's leaders, Armin. It's 9:10 in the morning already.
I know.
They're probably working, leading today's charge. And that's what we needed. We needed more out of those individuals. That is phenomenal.
You got me.
877-794-1973.
You stoked the memories.
The nostalgia is flowing through my man Armin Sarian.
Stoked the memories.
I definitely enjoyed the conversation we had a little earlier on here today. We stumbled upon a rather intense conversation of Freddie Peralta remaining a member of the Milwaukee Brewers. And to think of a guy that has had such a great season, and then it'll quickly go away into the offseason questions and concerns as to the longevity of him with the team, and does it make more sense for him to be in another uniform? It really slaps you in the face. It's a real dose of reality, Armin, of how quickly we have to move on to the offseason into this day and age.
And that stinks. You spend so much time enjoying it the year, and then it just ends abruptly one day, and then you have to start moving on and make those type of decisions. And that's the part that's tough about it, is saying goodbye to the journey that you had, because it was quite a summer, Billy.
And it's also interesting when he seems to be like the main guy, the only one though on this team that you're really going to have that conversation about this year.
I would say so, right? I mean, there's no two teams look the same, but there aren't any really. I mean, Reese Hoskins, maybe. I mean, is that one?
I think that's pretty clear. He's not
going to be part of it. There's no guys you're going either way on, right?
Woody would be an interesting one just because of what ultimately ends up being the injury. We still don't really know. And we also still have not heard as to when the Brewers are going to wrap up the 2025 season, when they're going to have their season-ending press conference.
That's interesting. We thought we might have heard about that by now.
Thought it would be most likely today. A lot of times it's 2 or 3 days after the season, or we're leaning in on closer to a week after the season now. So it should be happening sooner, again, rather than later. And maybe we'll get some real information in there as to what is going to go down. We asked the question yesterday of, would there be some changes? And I know you think 97 wins, they go to the NLCS. There's no shot that there's going to be changes. There always could be staff changes. And when Pat Murphy and Ricky Weeks are both walking into the third year of a 3-year deal, maybe the extension is the part of the conversation that is delaying the season-ending press conference. But I'm wondering when both of those pieces of information are coming out about the Milwaukee Brewers.
That would be interesting. That's going to be one to know. There's some guys entering the up and coming parts of their careers, and where does their role land is different maybe than a contract one. Like you mentioned Mizorowski earlier in the show, Chad Patrick, even maybe like a Robert Gasser at the front end of their career, what the rotation looks like there, what happens to guys that kind of fell off, like Tobias Myers, what's in the cards for him. So questions that way, Billy. I also wonder how long Pat Murphy wants to manage. Like, obviously he's been great.
Real question. Yeah.
He's gotten that shot, but he's, he's longer in the tooth, as they say, as a lot of guys that get their first job managing. Not imagining that's this year. I'm sure he'll be doing it for a couple, but I'm not really sure. I mean, Pat Murphy might be at some point looking at that and saying, okay, when is it going to be it for me? He is 66 years old. Now you can be a manager for a while, but what's the succession plan there? Is it Ricky Weeks? We always think it is. Is that the case? Or is that conjecture? Would that be the Brewers' plan? Not sure that's going to be a question this offseason. I would assume he's coming back. Like I
would assume. And you mentioned Ricky, and I thought yesterday, Luddy, the interesting tweak to the conversation that I think of would be, would somebody be interested in Ricky Weeks? Yeah. Right? Like Kurt Suzuki gets the Angels job now. Have we gotten the confirmation? Is the Tennessee Vols coach now the Giants coach, or is that still expected? Because that seems like the baseball version of the Dan Hurley back and forth with the Lakers a couple of years ago.
Or the Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, but I mean, like where they're going to grab one of the star-studded college coaches, and you're like, that guy's not going to coach in the pros.
Sorry,
and then all he wants is more money from his his place now. But I don't think that's off the table, right? Like he's clearly had success with young players and helping them develop. Murph gets all of the credit because he's the guy that's, his name's on the first line, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a couple of interviews. And like, you can't block him from taking interviews. You could block him from taking a lateral move as a bench coach, I think. But they would have to okay him interviewing for a lateral move. They wouldn't if it is him getting the opportunity to go be a manager. And that would be one that I would be interested to see if a team would pick up the phone and call, because a lot of people had said it when Ricky Weeks first became the assistant coach, or the assistant manager, I should say. Associate manager? Associate manager.
Important.
Yeah, no assistant here. We're working together. No one's working for somebody else. Associate manager, that it was, in 3 years, he'll get the keys and he'll go and take it over.
There's just the assumption, right?
I think that there would be some team that would look and say, he's done so well. They have done so well with him being a part of the building that I want a piece of that.
Yeah, and there was that assumption about a lot of guys in the coaching profession that never came to fruition. Eric Bieniemy, or you take your pick of guys.
Yeah.
Everyone's thought that'd be the next guy, but eventually, if he gets an offer, he might move on to something else too.
Well, how about you mentioned it happened in football of guys that can sometimes are in the conversations, might be looking at getting one of those jobs. You think might get one of those calls. What about Brian Schottenheimer? He had a long time where he was the name that people thought would be involved. That was when he was taking Mark Sanchez-led teams to the AFC title game. And then 20 years later, he finally gets his call, and people are surprised that he's the choice. And he had kind of fallen out of favor.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know when your name's going to get hot in the coaching circle. And I would just be interested to see if Ricky Weeks' name gets a little bit of smoke around it. Coming up on this hot stove, 877-794-1973. Let's flip it back to the football conversation on the other side, because there is a team that has reached a boiling point. They have reached a tipping point in their season. We're taking the ping pong tables out of the locker room stage. Desperation time for one team in pro football. We'll share it on the other side. It's No BS on the Game.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Stevie Wonder songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Part-Time Lover.
Pass me by, don't even speak. Know the word is sweet when part-time lovers.
Number 2, Isn't She Lovely?
Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Isn't she precious? Less than 1 minute. Oh.
Number 1, Superstition.
Very superstitious. Let us not fall. 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass.
Hear more from Stevie Wonder and similar artists now. Search for Stevie Wonder on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Hall & Oates songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3, Kiss on My List. Number 2, You Make My Dreams. Number 1. Man Eater.
Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy, she'll chew you up. Oh, here she comes. She's a man eater.
Hear more from Hall & Oates and similar artists now. Search for Hall & Oates on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Blondie songs that you've thumbed up.
Number 3.
One Way or Another.
One way or another, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you one day. Maybe next week, I'm gonna meet you. I'll meet you.
Number 2.
Heart of Glass.
In between, what I find is pleasing and I'm feeling fine. Love is so confusing, there's no peace of mind. If I fear I'm losing you, it's just no good. You're cheesing like this.
Number 1.
Call Me.
Emotions come, I don't know why. Cover up lies I live by. Call me on the line. Call me anytime. Call me on the line.
Hear more from Blondie and similar artists now.
Search for Blondie on iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music,
All your favorite stations,
all free.
iHeartRadio. Here are the top Foreigner songs that you've thumbed up. Number 3. Hot Blooded.
I show you loving like you never knew. That's why I'm hot-blooded. Check it and see. Feel the fever burning inside of me. Come on, baby, do you do more than dance?
Number 2. I Want to Know What Love Is.
Change this lonely life. I wanna know what love is. I want you to show me.
Number 1. Cold as Ice.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Hear more from Foreigner and similar artists now. Search for Foreigner on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
Coming up this Sunday, the Green Bay Packers take on the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday Night Football at Acrisure Stadium, and you're going to be listening to it on your new flagship home in Milwaukee, 95.7 Big FM. The call courtesy of Wayne, Larry, and John Kuhn. Armin Sarian bringing all the sounds here back in the studio. Myself, Billy Schmidt, Drew Olson on Packers OT. Drew, part of Packers Preview. That song brought us into Packers Preview for so long with Dennis Krause,
Yes.
James Jones. What's cooking with Wes Hodquist? He's gonna be cooking up something in Pittsburgh, and I'm always
I
excited.
think
for
so.
that part.
I love that segment.
Generally,
Wes does a great
my
job.
favorite part of the pregame show.
Yeah.
Even though Wes gets mad when I say that that's my favorite part of the pregame show.
Why does he get mad?
Yeah,
Why does
he
he
get mad?
Why
He thinks
would Wes
that I'm
get
trying
mad?
to disparage anybody else. No, I just like I like
It's
knowing
a different
what Wes is
energy.
cooking. I like knowing what he's cooking.
Yeah,
It's always a
absolutely.
good time.
No
he
Hines
thinks-
for this week.
He thinks you're just being facetious. Is that what he thinks?
He might be. Yeah, he might think I'm trying
Oh.
to. I can't be. No, especially when we're cooking up a matchup of two division leaders, the two North Division leaders in the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers. Packers come in with a half-game lead over Detroit and somewhat of a half-game lead over the Chicago Bears as well. The Bears one is even more interesting as they've won 4 consecutive games.
It really is.
In very, very unique fashion against a couple of common opponents. The one that the Packers ended up tying with, they beat the brakes off of the Cowboys at home did Chicago to start up their 4-game winning streak. They put their winning streak on the line this week, Armin, against a team that is done messing around. Team that is sick and tired of playing games. That being the Baltimore Ravens. This at Pro Football Talk earlier today. The Baltimore Ravens have reached take the ping pong tables out of the locker room stage of their losing
That's
streak.
always a stage. Denial, acceptance, ping pong tables. Oh,
That is it.
We're not
The
messing
Baltimore
around.
Ravens are done with this nonsense. Now, more maybe importantly to their 4-game losing streak and being 1-5 to start the 2025 season has been the health and availability of MVP quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, that probably is a bigger factor than ping pong tables. Just saying.
Might have something to do with
Just
it. Now,
saying.
Jackson, along with Roquan Smith, both questionable for this week, expected to be able to return, but they're done with it. Baltimore, perhaps the NFL's most disappointing team, said they've decided to buckle down and get to work. Guys, we're going to start trying now. According to the Baltimore Sun, Baltimore has removed recreation from the locker room, which included getting rid of ping pong tables, a basketball hoop, cornhole boards, and video game consoles.
What
The
is this, a
report
brewery?
says the coaches made the decision to make the locker room more business-like.
Why would you have cornhole in the locker room anyway? There's no room for it.
Tremendous gambling opportunity.
There's nobody's playing corn. Are they playing cornhole in the locker room? Do you think?
Yeah.
If it's
100%,
there, heck
yeah.
I guess it's not a tailgate. This isn't a brewery. There isn't
I think cornhole's easier to play than ping pong in the locker room.
Yeah, I think people enjoy the game at ping pong more. That's maybe a baseball thing more. I don't know. Well, they have a whole area though. You need a lot of space for that.
You got 50 guys in there,
Think they're
60
playing
guys in
drinking
there. You
rules
need a
with
lot
that
of room.
It's just surprising. That's all the stuff that like these, trendy corporate America corporations put in to try and keep employees in the office.
Get people involved and entertained in the workspace.
Which is funny that they're trying to take it out now to do the opposite. I don't know. This stuff has
don't
always
lose.
been the stupidest gimmicky stuff to me, like by a coach or a GM that wants to feign and perform like he's actually taking things seriously because his team.
We're trying now.
Just trying to save his job. Yeah, we're trying now. I mean, ridiculous. You think a ping pong ball and a cornhole is a reason you can't win football games in the NFL?
Maybe that's why they're not figuring it out with Cooper Rush.
Maybe that's the reason. Yeah, maybe that's the issue. Yeah,
I don't
think that's the issue.
I don't think that's the reason why their defense has just gone from one of the stalwart organizations defensively to suddenly cheeks when Kyle Hamilton's not playing all pro football.
Yeah, sometimes when you lose your best players, you're going to lose and
But
have
they said we want to make this thing more businesslike. As PFT says, it's a common occurrence in the NFL where teams often swing away from viewing fun in the locker room as an important part of team building and deciding that players are having too much fun at the expense of winning football
such a
games.
nonsense. It's amazing how the results dictate the process so much. Oh, you know what? We want guys that feel like they're part of each other. We're going to make it an inviting atmosphere.
Pause.
Okay, yeah, pause. Yeah. So we start losing games. Therefore, it must have been wrong. We don't want our guys to have chemistry anymore. We don't want them to have fun anymore.
Let's get in here.
We want them to feel
Zero
terrible.
fun.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about how much fun you're going to be having this season.
Yes, Coach.
Zero fun, sir. Football is fun. Still fun. I mean, Coach Boone can tell you real quick. It's not going to be a fun year.
It's absolutely true.
It has
Coach
not
Boone
been a
told you.
fun year for the Baltimore Ravens. Now, some would say you lean more into the fun. Let's bring the boys together. A little more camaraderie. Maybe we stay a little longer playing cornhole in the locker room with the guys. Fight for your brothers in the foxhole a little bit more. Instead, they said, you know what, you sons of guns. I see a lot of smiling. I see a lot of laughing, giggling, and games being played in the locker room. We're done with that.
Like Brad Pitt when he came into the locker room in Moneyball.
Yes.
And the guys are dancing around and stuff, and he swung the bat and hit the stereo.
Smash the stereo.
Jeremy, you're not your brother. You can't do that.
We're done in here.
Yeah, you're not your brother. Super real stuff. I mean, super authentic, real stuff from that movie. I don't know if it's gonna make a difference, Billy. And you know this stuff sometimes. Like maybe there can be a culture shift, but John Harbaugh has been setting the culture for how long?
For a long time.
So what's the deal?
He's been the leader there for
would he
quite a
ever
while.
would he ever be on the hot seat at all?
Siggy's.
I do think he kind of is on the hot seat now.
Really, yeah.
Not
It's been
that,
17 years, 18 years.
and I don't necessarily know that they would fire Harbaugh, but I think that it would be like one of those situations where it might be like a mutual parting of ways.
Of course.
Move on. Like
yeah, we both
coach
decided.
ends up deciding to retire, but Again, I don't think that he's the reason why they're losing games. I think their best players are hurt.
Yeah, I would agree with you, right?
A lot of their best players are hurt, and the young players that have been supplemented in and brought in to add to the defense have not performed well. And I mean, you want to talk about a guy that has been MIA. We've talked about the Packers cornerbacks being an issue. Well, the one guy that would not have solved that issue would be the former Packer corner that's playing in Baltimore, and Jair Alexander.
Yeah.
The only highlight he's had this year is trying to take the ball away from the Texans kid that scored his first touchdown.
Yeah, and that story definitely fizzled
healthy
out.
Scratch. I think 2 games already.
He did. That's definitely been a story that's fizzled out. So there's no doubt about that there. TK and Crafton, thank you for giving us these stages of grieving. UW lacrosse education strikes again. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. DABDA. Well, you missed one big one. Denial, anger, bargaining, ping pong, depression, acceptance.
Yeah, you got to get the ping pong balls out of here.
DABDA with the ping pong ball table. So
Deviation Don, Cooper Rush, a 3-time Central Michigan ping pong state champion.
What?
Is that true? Oh, see, you had me going there. You had me on that one, Deviation Don. Deviation Don always good. Well, maybe that's the problem. He's running everybody, and they're losing their focus. They're losing their energy and their confidence.
Trying to figure out how on earth we win when this guy is just dominating us in ping pong. Well,
it is hard. It is hard to accept losing when you're a program that's won so long, right? The Ravens are an example. I think the Packers would be another one. Any sort of down year would be hard for teams to accept, and they want to start. You want to make wholesale changes. What's the problem here?
Goodbye gaming consoles. Goodbye ping pong.
Which is funny.
Goodbye cornhole.
Are any of those guys not going to be still recreating themselves in the downtime?
Oh, that's fair.
They'll do it. They just won't be in the facility. You think guys are going to be like, you know what? They really showed us today. I'm going to go home and do nothing but stay in my playbook, watch film. I'm not going to watch TV.
I'm going to get 15 hours of iPad study in.
So all it's going to be all time. I'm going to get. I'm going to go out.
I'm going to show coach now.
I'm going to put my sweats on and run up in the hills in the forest. Like all night, like you know what I mean.
How do you think Baltimore is?
Yeah, I'm just making. I get. Yeah, there's not a lot of force in.
Hasn't
Baltimore.
been watching The Wire very often.
I get it, but my point is like this: the imagery and the idea of guys like football players doing these things and taking the extra level. We've been motivated. The coach came in and took away our toys. It's just. I don't know. It won't change the way I predict the Ravens.
I hope it works out for them.
Yeah, right. I mean, sure.
I hope it works for them. Most importantly, I hope it works out for them this week because I hope that they beat the Bears. Yeah, I would like them to win.
I would love that
and cover. They're 6.5-point favorites against Chicago. I don't know that I'd be laying that number.
How
in Baltimore?
Yeah. In Baltimore, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, and I get the skepticism of the Bears win streak. Like, there's a lot to it of like, well, are they for real? Is this smoke and mirrors? Because often when the Bears have won in the last 20, 30 years, it's been a little smoke and mirrors, but they've had good moments, right? They've had good runs.
Oh, for sure.
This is just
won the division one of those years.
This is, went to the Super Bowl in 06, right? So
2018 won the division.
Really interesting situation because you're looking at a team in the Bears that we think was bad the first 2 weeks. Caleb seemed cooked. The articles came out that he didn't know how to listen to coaches and meetings. Then all of a sudden they've won 4 in a row. So you don't really know what to make of this Bears team yet. For that matter, you don't know what to make of a lot of teams in this league, Billy.
Amen.
So that's kind of the struggle there. So while I'm sitting here saying I can't believe they're favorites, they might go and beat the brakes off the Bears this weekend. Nobody really seems to know. But that is an interesting one.
Is a strange outfit as well from a year ago because I mean, like the Steelers last year were leading the division for a large period of the year. Baltimore sputtered out of the gates in 2024. Now they were 0-2. They weren't 1-5.
Sure.
A little different deal there because they end up taking it off the sheet, winning their final 4 games after their week 14 bye and winning the AFC North. But like they had the long preseason winning streak for a couple of decades and then or for a number of years, like 20 some games, but they have not been able to get past the one team that a lot of teams haven't been able to get past in the AFC. That's Kansas City Chiefs. And Armin, what did I tell you about that Chiefs stock?
You said you're buying Chiefs stock. You said you're buying Chiefs stock. Let's hear from Billy. He was right about that.
Let me hold some of it.
Still lower than normal, right?
Billy's like, if you want to sell it, I'm buying it. And right now it's going up.
I wouldn't say that anymore, Luddy, as you look right now in the futures department, Chiefs odds-on favorite to win not only the Super Bowl, but win the AFC. And Pat Mahomes is suddenly the odds-on winner to win the MVP.
I saw that. We're going right back to the Chiefs again. And
He's
why
still
not?
Pretty good at football.
Yeah, and also this is a league now where there's no obvious players taking advantage of that award, it seems like. Because there's no quarterbacks putting up crazy numbers like they used to maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago. Like every year there was a quarterback putting up nasty numbers, right? And now all this, I don't know, Mel Kiper, you say what you want, Shell 2, whatever it is, but Mahomes is just the emeritus MVP now, I would say, right?
Yeah, I would say 1,800 yards is pretty solid to have through 7 games, but you're kind of right. There was a time and place where it was the Lamar 50 touchdowns, or last year 48-4 ends up not winning it with that or with those numbers.
Crazy.
And Pat for a couple of years putting up 50 touchdowns. He had won it when they won against when they went a couple of years ago to the Super Bowl. And you're right, where it felt very much like nobody else seemingly has taken away the award, so we're just going to give it to best quarterback on the best team. That was when they won in Arizona against the Eagles 3 years ago. But there's something to all these teams are very much together right now.
Together.
There
groups,
still feels like a lot of value. There's still a lot of unknown about all of these teams that are playing right now.
Yeah. And that's the grouping that's really interesting about this league. And talk about individual races too for awards and such. You don't see the guys separating themselves as much. I mean, I made the comment a couple of years ago, and I believe it still to be true. I know Jordan Love won't win the MVP, but whoever does win it, Jordan's numbers will be somewhat similar to them.
Sure.
And they were at the end of that year. So counting stats are tough, Billy. It's a deeper look now into how you separate these guys and teams, which is.
And Potawatomi Sportsbook can also be a little bit slanted because they take most action from Packers fans.
Sure.
But Micah Parsons, odds-on favorite at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, at least for Defensive Player of the Year, kind of by a lot over Aiden Hutchinson, plus 180 to 375.
Which I think is funny because you know how it is. After every game, we'll get a couple that said, well, where's Mark? Where was Mike on every play? We overpaid for him, So
he's got to sack him every single play.
That's what
they're
he does.
out there,
That's
no
what he
doubt
does.
about
Yeah.
it. And shockingly enough, Jonathan Taylor getting some love because he has been right now the best running back in pro football.
I think he
no doubt about it.
definitely get a look. He's been a monster.
A lot of fun for it. Big weekend in the NFL coming up. We are going to continue to get fired up for it. Mike Tomlin said Aaron Rodgers has been fired up for every game this year. But I imagine some external things are going to make it more, make more of it than him. He's playing to win. That's what he does. That's my kind of perspective on it. Our perspective on it, it's a big moment for the NFL, big moment for our Green Bay Packers, and big one coming up on Sunday night. Also a big moment when, did I just see a pizza delivery here in the studio?
I believe so.
Think so, Billy.
That's a
huge.
big moment when
That's
Pangle
huge.
the Pizza Man rolls through. It's no BS on the game.
She loves his southern drawl from north of Atlanta. That Silverado he got parked outside. Loves it. Cranking 89 Alabama. Kissing for an hour in the parking lot.
After a successful home opener in a 5-3 win over Texas, Milwaukee hits the road as they travel to San Jose for the first time since 2017. Into the slot, he'll find Thompson. Left circle, shoots. Save made. Rebound score. Pre-game on Friday at 8:30. Face-off at 9 on Fox Sports 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits #1 in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at #1 in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits number 19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to number 20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to number 13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Boston band Aerosmith released their debut album. It fares poorly. It would be re-released in '76 and yield a top 10 hit, Dream On.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, right on down.
Elvis Presley's live TV special, Aloha from Hawaii, is watched by more than 1 billion people worldwide and introduces the world to the rhinestone white jumpsuit. In February of '73, Alice Cooper has a #1 album with Billion Dollar Babies, along with 3 top 40 singles. Elton John also has a #1 album and his first #1 single with Crocodile Rock. Paul McCartney and Wings have a #1 single with My Love, and the Stooges signed to Columbia Records and released their final album, Raw Power, produced by David Bowie. In March, Pink Floyd releases the now legendary Dark Side of the Moon. It goes to #1 and becomes one of the best-selling albums of all time.
And everything under the sun is you. The sun is a place for
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973.
Led Zeppelin released their 5th album, Houses of the Holy. It goes to #1 in the US and the UK and yields the top 20 hit Dire Maker.
But I still love you so, and I can't let you go. I love you.
The Doobie Brothers released their top 10 album, The Captain and Me, with the singles Long Train Runnin' and China Grove. And in June, Joe Walsh and Barnstorm have a top 10 album buoyed by the single Rocky Mountain Way. Also in June of '73, George Harrison scores a #1 single, Give Me Love, from the #1 album Living in the Material World. And Chicago's 6th album goes to #1 with 2 top 10 hits, Just You and Me and Feeling Stronger Every Day. In July, 600,000 Jam Watkins Glen for Summer Jam, the largest rock festival ever held in the U.S. It features the band, the Grateful Dead, and the Allman Brothers. And in August, those same Allman Brothers released their first album after the death of Duane Allman and had their only hit single with Ramblin' Man, which goes to #2.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
When Americans volunteer to serve their country promises to take care of them when they come home. Paralyzed Veterans of America works with veterans and their families to make sure they get all that they were promised. You can help. Visit pva.org.
We have breaking news at this moment, and Shams joins us live in advance of the lottery with that, the latest on Giannis and his future. Shams, take it away. What do we have?
Greeny, I'm here in Chicago. Sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo, for the first time in his career, is open-minded about exploring whether his best fit moving forward is outside of Milwaukee. So whether he's going to remain as a Milwaukee Buck or move on, potentially, he's going to explore that, spend time exploring that.
They're not good enough. Their future doesn't look right in terms of the assets they have available. And then the moment that Damian Lillard went down with the Achilles tear, to me, it was a wrap.
If I'm Milwaukee, the first call I'd make is to Dallas.
Mobley for Giannis, straight up. What do you think? Straight up. He's 6.5 years younger. Call it in right now.
Done.
You're done if you're Milwaukee.
Yeah.
But right now, there is no Giannis Antetokounmpo trade market. There is no Giannis Antetokounmpo trade discussion. He has not asked for it. The Bucks are not looking to trade him.
That is a tremendous mega mix of the weekend that has been, or the offseason that has been for Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks. Andrew Ludwig, phenomenal job right
All right, thank you. Had that one in the hopper from A little bit.
That was awesome to replay all that we went through this offseason. Will he, won't he? Is he gone? Is he staying? Is he going? Does he want to be gone? Is he demanding a trade? Is he going to be a New York Knick? Is he going to be a San Antonio Spur?
Yeah.
Do we have to trade him for Evan Mobley? Straight up. All that courtesy of, the Ringer and Bill Simmons and ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and a bunch of people talking out of their rear ends about Giannis needing to play on a different team. I love Barkley saying it in the little bit that he was there of like, I'd call for Cooper Flag because guess what? I'm shooting for the moon. I think Barkley has been one of the most open and honest guys about the entire offseason saying, listen, where were y'all when I was in Philly? Where were y'all saying Charles Barkley needed more help when I was with the 76ers?
Yeah.
Where were y'all saying Barkley needs more help with the Phoenix Suns? Just because you don't win the title every single year doesn't mean you got to go and hop on a jet and go play somewhere else. So while in 2025, we believe, and we have been, I guess, programmed to see it in pro sports and especially in the NBA so often, that the best players, when things don't go right, when push comes to shove, they will get going. I don't necessarily know that that's exactly the case. And right now, he's a Milwaukee Buck. And I'll tell you this right now, Armin, I got the 34 sweatshirt on at the
Let's
moment.
go. Got to represent.
And I will be enjoying every night of Bucks basketball with Giannis on the team for however long it ends up being. And I will soak in how often he dominates opponents. And tonight against the Washington Wizards at Fiserv Forum, I imagine there will be a lot of dominance asserted by number 34.
I hope so. That's what we're looking for, Billy. And I think there's this kind of lingering undercurrent of an idea that, okay, well, this is just it for Giannis. The window's closed. We're playing out the string. I don't want to believe that. I don't really believe it. I still don't believe it until I see it, that Giannis is actually not going to be a Buck one day. And I know it will happen one day, but I have to wait and see it until it happens.
But everything that the Bucks needed to do offseason wise, including upgrading the roster, which was amazing that they could do with the Dame Lillard thing they did. They also, last year, he wanted his brother on the team.
Signed his whole family.
They signed two of his brothers.
Everybody's got jobs. So
the Bucks are doing what
they've done. Horse can lay his head at night knowing he's done everything he possibly can. And I don't know. I still also don't subscribe to the idea that the window's closed and the Bucks are not contenders either. I have to wait and see what they've come up with. They made the biggest signing that anyone made in the offseason, I believe. I mean, if I start
free agency,
So
free agency.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And I'd like to see it start off with a bang here against Washington. I also want to see Giannis on the court being a Milwaukee Buck. We saw the clip of him going at guys in practice.
And the scrimmage.
No whining.
On Sunday.
No whining. It's not a foul if you don't whine. I don't mind him being a leader. I don't mind him barking. I don't mind him being engaged and energized by it.
I don't mind him being a little Jordan-like in that.
Yes.
Listen,
screaming, griping at players.
If a guy's got one foot out the door, I don't think he's going to be that into it. That's the part of the way I think. Now, maybe not. He might be wired that way, but he should be wired in such a way, and I know he is, that he's going to give it his all anytime he's on the court, right? And right now he's on the court for Milwaukee.
This is one of the first times in a long time that I don't think the season is championship or bust. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a fair point, Billy. Yeah.
Even though, that's still the goal, 1,000%.
It's always the goal, yeah.
It's always the goal. I don't think that it's going to be looked at as such an abject failure if they don't. Right? Because nobody's expecting them to have any bit of a chance. But I do expect them to be a playoff team. I expect them to have a chance to win a series in the playoffs, right? Because they still have the best player. And in a playoff series, you have any chance to beat anybody if you have the most dominant player. It's one of the reasons why I still thought that they had a very much a puncher's chance against Indiana last year. I didn't realize Indiana was going to take it off the sheet and be as good and dominant as they were. Maybe we should have saw that for how they closed the regular season. But any team with that guy on it and in the fold and playing for 70 odd games, I'm going to struggle to see is just wilting away in mediocrity and obscurity in the NBA. 877-794-1973. Thomas in Onalaska sent us an awesome GIF of a young lady, not so young lady, going up in one of those old school chairlifts. Said, what a ride the New England Patriots have been on this season. Out of all the teams that they have beaten in their just step ladder to success into their record right now that I believe sits at 5-2 for the AFC East leading New England Patriots, they have remarkably successful W's against the Miami Dolphins, Carolina Panthers, Buffalo Bills is a good one. New Orleans Saints and Tennessee Titans. So there's a lot of teams that have some wins right now stacked up, Armin, against lesser competition.
Yeah.
And not necessarily inspiring a whole lot of hope. That's, I think, what you're wondering is going to be the case with the Chicago Bears, because they're going to start getting tested here coming up.
Yeah, they are. They're going to start getting tested with some tougher opponents, and that's fine. That's how it'll shake out. Look, but sometimes the schedule does work out for you. So that can be just the way it is. These are still all NFL teams you have to beat. And I never liked like using schedule as an excuse, because I think you have who you have in your schedule, and eventually you have to make, the bill comes due eventually if you play somebody good or in the playoffs. But I think that's a reality. The one thing you can do, though, is pick up some confidence by the time you play those teams, right? And that can be a big factor. I mean, if you get your team feeling good, in a groove, figuring out what makes them good, building confidence, then against those other opponents, then by the time you play those teams, you might be playing better than you actually would have played before. You might be a different outfit. So it could go both ways there. Would like to see the Bears start losing some games. That'd be nice. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be pretty good. So,
well, they go on the AFC North run here over the next couple of weeks. They go to Baltimore, to Cincinnati. Cincinnati game looks a heck of a lot different than it did 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Flacco's changed him a little bit.
Especially when the Vikings got him. But the two losses on the schedule for Chicago, still against Minnesota and Detroit in the first 2 weeks. So when they've played the North, which has still been the most important spot to win these division games, they've fallen short. Packers will have more opportunities against the North coming up in November, but they've had this rather cushy portion of the schedule for the Packers, I'm saying, here in October. Close it out with a win in Pittsburgh, and then all bets are off going into November, where the schedule does get a lot more interesting with the Philadelphia team, 2 games against the division with Detroit and Minnesota. And I mentioned it yesterday with Tim Allen, Armin, a little pesky Carolina Panthers team that comes in 4-3.
Yeah, teams change so much. Fortunes change so much from week to week. You just got to try and get your wins whenever you can get them. Hope to get in a good spot in the playoffs and try and make a run there. But you're right about Carolina, Billy. You just never see them coming sometimes, these type of teams that will all of a sudden win a few games.
Well, and like Wayne Larrivee will talk about it, and he'll talk about it with us on Friday, as he always does going into games. You look at like 3 or 4 weeks. That's about what you can tell about a team, who they are for the last 3 or 4 weeks. And it's all about when you face teams, not who you play. It's when you play them. The Packers will play at New York in the middle of November. A lot different than playing at the New York Giants in the middle of September, right? A few weeks in, that'll be a month and a half into the Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo love affair that's been going on there, and had them nearly beating the Denver Broncos in Denver. So that's a much different team than it was 4 weeks ago. And it's all about when you start facing some of these teams. Carolina would have been a much different story 3-4 weeks ago. Now it seems like a pretty interesting game where they're kind of in the hunt in the NFC.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. And like we said, now with the expanded playoffs, you have that extra spot. It doesn't take more than a 9-8 record to at least be in the mix for a playoff spot.
To be around,
to be in that spot. Now some divisions tougher than others. We talked about the AFC East, but the NFC North has been a very tough division. So sometimes the wild card's a better route. I don't know. It's a very interesting situation as we get closer to playoff time. And all these games are so tightly contested, and so much can change from week to week. That's why we love this league, Billy. That's why we enjoy it, because it's an absolute drama-filled ride that takes us week to week around the league.
It's unreal, and it's never matched. I'll tell you this one thing that I'm very interested for tonight, Armin. You and I, probably more than most, as sports junkies and sports media nerds as well, a little bit.
That you're interested for tonight?
Tonight, debut of Inside the NBA on ESPN.
Yes. Come on.
First time that the Inside Boys are going to be on ESPN as tip-off rolls through Cavs and Cavs at Knicks, as well as then Spurs and Mavs. And then it's Inside the NBA after. So that's a late night for the crew. I don't believe they're doing pregame, but we're going to see. Can ESPN actually have this beautiful product of Inside the NBA without screwing it up?
That's right.
Without Stephen A. Smithing it up.
And here I thought you meant Missouri State and New Mexico State. That's what I thought you meant.
I knew you're locked in.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Watching it.
We'll be watching some Bucks as well and hanging out with you and waking up with you. Yeah, you're going to be at Bucks. Come on now, Credential Media, Luddy. Yeah. You'll be at the game. Enjoy it, and we'll talk tomorrow morning. Andrew Ludwig for Armin Sari, and I'm Billy Schmidt. It's been the No BS Morning Show here on